Hey, what's up, everybody? We actually made it. We're
I
at
know. Video
video.
400.
I can't believe it. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with.
AJ Talent, and this is finally our review of the Netflix Death Note movie from 2017.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. We're gonna give you a bit of behind the scenes because we've been waiting to do this video for I think like 4 years at this point.
It's been a
Because
while.
it was. Let me think because we've talked about this in the last video. But we noticed in 2019 we would get into 400 video 400 of Unseen Brothers because we were doing videos on there and stuff. I've obviously started the channel before you started doing videos with me,
Oh
so
yeah,
a lot
wait.
of the so a lot of the videos, at least in the beginning and stuff, were just me and some of my friends doing wrestling stuff and like just doing other random stuff, let's plays and stuff like that. And then eventually you came on and we started doing like the red versus blue videos. And obviously we did some other videos. Death Note obviously has been a big thing on here, which is why this is
I think it's been like
episode.
our main thing actually.
Yeah. Um I think Death Note was like the first thing we reviewed together as like a show actually because
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
because
kind of
I showed it to you,
yeah,
and then you were like, oh hey, we should like make a YouTube video about it.
it was like the last few days I was in Florida all that time ago. That was in 20 was that
Yeah, yeah. I
2015
was I was in middle school, I want to say,
middle school? It couldn't have been middle school. I think
or like I was going into high school.
yeah, because it was like this tough to really tell like what
Yeah, so
grade.
like I was technically in high school, yeah.
Yeah,
But and then now I'm graduating college. Holy shit!
I know, and we're doing this now. But
Or
yeah,
we finished Death Note the show back when I was a senior in high school, so it's been almost 4 years.
yeah. So and then yeah, so we finished Death Note the show, um, and then I believe we did some more red versus blue stuff. We did like a video called "Did L Who Won Ella Light?" Because that was a big thing in the Death Note manga and stuff and
Yeah, and I let
anime.
us doing other stuff on your other channel, like who won Walt, who won
Yeah,
Tank.
and then this wasn't even going to be like the original 400th episode. I think it was originally going to be the last video, which was L Change the World. Uh,
Right,
but
yeah,
then
yeah. You wanted to do L Change the World because you like the idea of like an L standalone movie.
yeah,
Funny how that worked out because you didn't like the movie.
I know, yeah. And then I think what happened is the Breaking Bad movie, the El Camino movie came out, so we had to go back and review Breaking Bad all over, like obviously do like a season review all over it. So we had to kind of take a focus off of 400 for a bit. And
Yeah,
then this has been so much like I've been doing YouTube for
back and
years.
forth. Like I've been in college, you were in
Yeah,
college, and you were working. I was
yeah.
working.
And then there's been occasions where we had to cheat like there was a video we uploaded. I think it was like a channel update video. We had to take off. We had to delete off here because it would
Yeah,
have like screwed
make
up
this
off 100.
400. Yeah, it's been a whole thing.
I
Uh,
remember there was a case then we had to like go back. Like we reviewed Red versus Blue Recovery 1, and I accidentally uploaded the wrong video, so we had to delete that video. So that brought it down a little
oh
bit.
god, yeah.
And then
We still haven't done the recovery one video actually.
no, because we were gonna do it, and then it took us a while to do um the uh Death Note manga
Right, shit.
we
Yeah, no, I
did.
totally forgot we haven't even done that.
Yeah.
Or we did it and then we just never. Yeah, it's been chaos. But
And
anyway,
then the biggest thing I think is I think this is the biggest thing. We don't even know if this is really 400 because YouTube has changed their channels now where you can't see how many videos you have on your video manager or anything like that. So this might not even be 400, but we're just going
but we're
off.
assuming it's 400. We've said it's 400 for years. It's 400 in our hearts.
Yeah. And I think the reason we picked this video is because we went so long without like doing any videos together. We were like, you know what? I think you made the call last summer, not last summer, but the summer you were up a couple years ago. Where you're like, let's just do it. Let's just make Netflix Death Note for because I had seen the L movie and stuff, and I think this is a more fitting episode 400 because you wanted to. This is a video you wanted to be making for a while because you
Yeah,
saw this movie
and
and
also I think
everything.
it works good because it would have been weird, like because we watched the first two Japanese Death Note movies, And then watching the American one and then going back to the Japanese one would have been weird.
Yeah, especially too
So I'm
because
glad we
like
watched like the trilogy together. Well,
yeah,
together, you know, like 2 years in between the videos. But you know what I mean.
yeah, and then I also like even though because I think there is more stuff in the Japanese one, but it doesn't revolve around like L or Light or anything like that. So that I consider that like the trilogy type of thing because that's like the end of L story. Um,
Mhm.
but I like the fact that this is episode 4 or video 400 because um, it gives us a chance to kind of do a video that like everyone of a movie at least everybody has seen because it's on Netflix and everything like that.
Right,
So.
like the Japanese ones are more obscure. I feel like, and they're also older. They came out mid 2000s.
Yeah, this. So I'll tell you. Let's talk
And
about
also,
this.
we decided not to like share like how much we feel about it. I haven't gone into detail because I didn't want to spoil it, but I made it very clear I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah. So
Uh,
it's interesting. This is the first time I think we've done it before, but this is the first time we've actually done like a video where like we haven't talked about anything that happened. I think we have done it a couple times. Like obviously when we were doing the Death Note, but we were also in
I
this.
made slight comparisons. I was like, okay, this show definitely did this better than like the movie.
Yeah. And you are
Vague about it.
that's also why I don't think you shat on like the L Chained the World movie as much as I did because
Right, because I had this to compare it to.
and like the last chapter manga that we reviewed a couple like about a month or so
Right,
ago.
yeah, because this was a concept that we both talked about for a while, and we were both like really liked the idea of like what would happen if Death Note was in the modern day, because of course Death Note, the original series came out mid 2000s, where internet was still in its like baby stages. No, there wasn't security everywhere, and just things were run differently. Law enforcement was different, so we were like, how would Akira get away with their killings in like this modern climate?
Yeah,
And
and we get this
both
movie
this one
takes
and the sequel one shot tackle that idea. They both do it kind of sloppily, but comparatively, I think the one shot does it better.
which is weird because that's only like what not even 100
Like
pages.
yeah, 80 pages.
But before we talk about any of that, so like again, AJ and I have not talked about this at all before we started recording this. So he's hearing my thoughts for the first time, and I'm sort of in like in a complex sense hearing your full thoughts on this movie. So, um, let's do the history and stuff. Go through everything that went into making this movie. Um, so let's start. Obviously, you know the name of the movie. It's called Death Note. Do you know who directed this movie? I don't think you
Yeah,
did.
Adam Wingard.
Yeah.
He also directed Fantastic Four, which is
Oh yeah, isn't that's a bad? Funny thing is, I
yeah,
haven't.
that's oh man, I don't. This guy loves taking shows that I like and
Yeah,
making them shit.
I'll just tell you right now, I haven't even watched the Fantastic Four, but I still didn't like the Fantastic Four when I
Uh,
saw it. So
it sucks for someone who's like a big superhero fan. It's like,
yeah.
man,
Um.
the poor Fantastic Four have gotten it 3 times. They've had 3 bad movies,
Yeah.
4 technically.
Let's just talk about this real quick. Then I'll talk about it more so later. I think the director like changed a lot. Like I don't even he wasn't even.
Yeah. There's actually I know a little bit about this. This movie has been in the works for like basically 10 years because it changed directors like 5 times.
It changed production companies. Like originally, what's it called? Paramount was gonna direct it. No, Warner Bros. It was Warner Bros. Was gonna direct this, which directed the Japanese Death Notes that we reviewed, and I think they just kind of put it on the back burner pretty much. They never really went anywhere with it. I'm just gonna read the Wikipedia thing word for word, so that way I'm not. So yeah, like you said, in 2007, it was reported that this movie was going to be made. The American company, Vertigo Entertainment, I think is how you say that, was originally set to develop the remake with Charlie and Avalas. I don't know if that's how you say that. As the screenwriters, the last names are Paul Penhates. I don't even. Yeah, that's really bad. That's worse than what I did with the Japanese names. That's not even a Japanese name. So, and Roy Lee, Doug Davidson, Dan Lin and Brian Ritten were going to be the producers. So then it changed. On April 30th, 2009, Variety reported that Warner Bros., the distributor for, like we said, the Death Note movies we covered before, were going to be the production company, which I think would have been good because those Death Note movies, at least, the two that focus on the Death Note itself, were pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the director changed. It was going to be Shane Black. And the screen was going to be written by the same people. And then I'm just going to read this. Warner Studios plan to change. Actually, I'm not going to read that part because that ties in. It just says that they plan to change Light backstory, and boy, did they ever. We'll talk about that later. And then in July 2014, it was rumored Gus Van Sant would replace Black as the new director. So the director changed in 2014 in July. And then on April 27, 2015, the Hollywood Reporter revealed that the guy now that we just talked about, Adam Wingard, would direct the film, that Lin Lee, Jason Hoffs, and Masa Oka would produce, and that Nietzsche Kai Kindle and Nick McCurve would oversee the studio. It got an R-rated, which obviously had to be an R-rated considering all the stuff they do in this movie.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I have some opinions on the gore in this movie. You're a horror fan, but I think it's kind of unfitting. But we'll get into it.
In April 2016, the Wrap reported that because Warner Bros. Had decided to make fewer films, the studio put the film into a turnaround, which means that they basically put it in the back burner pretty much. So pretty much they took the project elsewhere. And then Netflix picked it up in April 6, 2016. So I think Netflix was starting to make movies around this time with just on Netflix. If I'm pretty
Netflix
sure.
originals, yeah.
And then I won't say the budget because you're going to guess that later. The script was written by Jeremy Slater. Production officially began in British Columbia on June 30th, 2016, where Vancouver doubled as Seattle, overseen by DN Canada Productions, Inc. The Ross Brothers composed the score for the movie, which is the music pretty much. So that's all that stuff right there. Let me see if there's anything else I can have you guess at this moment. The cinematography was done by David Tattersall. It was edited by Louis Sophie. We already said we did the music. There's various different production companies that I just went through that produced this movie. Netflix is obviously the biggest one since it's on their studios and stuff. It's cool. There's actually a Wii U Productions, which is pretty cool. I mean, if you're gonna have Wii U in your movie, why not have Wii U Productions produce it?
Yeah.
Do you want to guess the release date? You can guess the one that the United States one, so that's the worldwide one, pretty much.
I remember I was in school when this came out. I want to say March 2017.
It was August 25th, 2017.
Oh, yeah, so this must have been like beginning of my junior year then.
Yeah, so I remember I was in college, and I think one of my friends was talking about how he was going to go watch this movie. He never heard anything about it, though, so. Now, guess the budget for this movie. How much money they put into the movie.
Because all the shit that happens at the end, I don't know, 30 million?
Did you say 3 or 30?
30.
It's 40 million, actually, so.
Oh, okay, I was pretty close.
Yeah, I assume that a lot of it's all that blood and gore they put in, all that stuff at the end they put into it. So there's that. And then this is the one thing you can't guess is the box office because it's a Netflix movie. They don't really have obviously a box office per se.
Office, yeah.
I assume it's just going to be like, I don't know how they budget if it's good. I guess based off how many people watch it on Netflix and all that type of stuff.
It's viewings, yeah.
And maybe like if subscriptions went up after the movie came out and all that type of stuff, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically everything. Zac Efron, I could talk about this, was actually originally going to play Light Yagami.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was reported in 2009.
He's a handsome guy. I think he honestly might have been better.
Consider the fact, I think the reason I say he might have been better too is I think they would have actually made him popular because that's what Light was in the
That's
manga
okay.
and
That's the
stuff.
thing. So, yeah, okay. I think that's enough backstory. Let's get into like the movie.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
I guess like less of the production and more of like some big things. I just kind of want to get away first. So,
yeah,
it's an American movie of a Japanese property, of course. So there are going to be changes. That's fine. Like
we talked about that.
It takes place in Seattle instead of again, fine, no issues with that. However, we talked about it a bit in the previous Japanese movies that in the original L and Watari were meant to be like British.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well L was actually like a quarter Japanese, so like that's fine that they changed his race a bit, I think. And Watari, Japan's different than America. America's more of like the whole melting pot thing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more diversity here. Japanese is primarily Asian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind some race changes, but this was like aggressively different. like literally everyone's race was different.
I know.
The white guy, okay, the two white guys were turned into Asian and black, and then the Asian people were all turned white.
I'm glad you said it, not me. I wasn't even. Yeah, like we talked about it. This doesn't also help because here's the thing, right? When you saw this the first time, you didn't even see the original. Like, so I'm seeing this too, and I saw like obviously the Japanese ones and the guys that they got to play, especially L. Like we've talked about it countless times.
We talked about that. Like that was like the people they cast for Light L were like perfect.
Yeah, like especially L. Like that's how that's how if he actually like exists. I don't know why they didn't just get that guy because he could speak English too. He spoke English in that movie. Like,
right? Yeah. Like we said in the L Changed the World movie, the biggest like saving grace was that the L actor. Like he is like amazing. He's like L in real life.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I think the guy who plays L here did a good job in the beginning. Like his mannerisms, like his quirks.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this.
I really liked all that. It wasn't until later when he just wasn't even L anymore. But that's not his fault. It's the script's fault.
I'm gonna say this. Let's just also say this too. I think everyone that acted this movie, the actor, the cast, is fairly solid. It's just that they're not given shitty scripts to work with and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think
like James Turner is Light's dad. I think he does a fine job. Although I think Mia and Light's actors are not good.
Yeah, they're not good.
Like again, they have shitty material. Like they're just not Light and Misa.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. Until I looked it up, because she's not me. I didn't even realize it was meant to be Misa until I looked it up.
Really, her name's Mia. Mia. It's pretty close.
Well, to be honest, like because she doesn't act like Misa at all. It's like,
oh yeah. She acts more like Light than Light does.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
So for the actor for Light, he was in Naked Brothers band.
Wait, no way, was he?
Yeah, he was the main dude in the Naked Brothers band. Remember, we watched that when I was like 5, and I'm like, what? To be honest, I
haven't seen that show in so long either. That like I don't. It's weird you remember it because you were younger than me when I was. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was like the big joke everyone was making when this movie came out. It's like, hey, that's the guy from the Naked Brothers band.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah.
Damn, it is. You know why I don't remember it either is because I haven't watched that show in so long. But like he was so much younger back then.
Oh yeah. Well, he was like a kid then. This I'm assuming he's like in his 20s.
Damn. Now I'm really gonna be shitting on. Yeah. Not the best choice then because people are gonna now make fun of Light for that now. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna make that comparison.
And speaking of kid shows, they changed his last name to Turner.
Yeah, that didn't help. When I heard it was Turner,
everyone was making Fairly Odd Parents jokes about this movie.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Deathly Godparents,
what sucks, because like it sucks they do this too because it doesn't help because we use a death god and stuff too, and now they made the supposed to the last name of like a TV show that has fairy godparents. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, come on, you could have picked any other name. um,
what else did they
okay, speaking
pick?
of casting choices, I think we both agree Willem Dafoe as Ryuk is great.
Mm.
He's like the one acting choice everyone's like, yeah, that's fine.
So what happened? I'll talk about this too. Two people play Ryuk. Obviously.
Oh, the mocap guy, yeah, obviously.
Let me just look it up real quick because I'm bad with names. As Ryuk. So Willem Dafoe plays Ryuk. He does his voice acting, and Jason Lilies, I think is how you say his name. He's like the person that actually is Ryuk.
Right, right.
Like
He's
in the
doing all
costume.
like movements.
Yeah.
Okay, so I brought this up. I'm not a big Transformers guy, but like I appreciated that like in the movies they like had the cartoon voice actor for Optimus Prime voice him in the movies. Right, just it's like a nice like thing for the fans. Like, oh cool, his voice is super iconic.
Well, like in when they brought back, since we made the comparison anyways, when they brought back Fairly Odd Parents, like in the movies and stuff, it's always like the voice actors that actually play Cosmo and Wanda.
Right, right. Like
Always.
Cosmo Wonder are voiced by their cartoon things. Because like why would they not be? They're
Yeah.
cartoon characters. You can just it's the same thing. um so it's really weird they didn't just bring in Ryuk's actual like voice actor for this.
It didn't also help. We talked. This is the one thing I think we talked about, like off camera type of thing. It also doesn't help because last year I saw Spider-Man: No Way Home, so I've heard Matt's like voice recently as the Green Goblin and stuff.
Right. His voice here is very Green Goblin.
Yeah, it doesn't help because Ryuk acts very more Green Goblin. Like
he's not really Ryuk in this. He's more like a fucked up demon. Like he is like more the Green Goblin than he is Ryuk.
Yeah, and like I said, we've talked about people can transition out of roles, but I think it's tough for a voice actor because you know, um I just want to make because William Defoe is clearly trying to be the Green Goblin more so than anything
right,
else.
and that's why,
so.
like I like Willem Dafoe as an actor, and like again, I think he's like the best one here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, point is like it's weird that they just didn't have the voice actor in the show come back for this.
Especially, yeah.
Because like in the Japanese ones, I'm pretty sure like the Ryuk in the movies is the Ryuk from the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I think there's been times where they use like the voice actor again too and all that type of stuff.
Right. So it's just like I mainly think they did it because Willem Dafoe is like a big name.
Yeah, William Dafoe though, and it's not like William Dafoe could have transitioned out of it because you could correct me if I'm wrong. Not the Spider-Man we have now, but the second Spider-Man. He's in it as like a cop too, and you wouldn't even know like it's the Green Goblin because he doesn't act
really?
like.
I didn't even know that.
I'm pretty sure he's like.
Cameo.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I think he's the dad. He's MJ's dad, like in that movie. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, that just shows you how he transitioned out of it pretty well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish they, like I don't mind him being in it. It just I think too it doesn't help too that they wrote Ryuk's character differently too. Like he had no choice but to be like it was like they were trying to write Ryuk's character to like William Dafoe's strengths versus just making Ryuk like the kid.
Right, like yeah, that's why I said he's more of like a demon.
Yeah.
And okay, so in the okay, so since we're talking about acting choices, I guess now would be better to go into like how the characters themselves are different.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So
I guess since we were talking about Ryuk is the choice I guess I mind the least. So in the original, Ryuk isn't like super important, like he's more of I think he mainly exists for the audience, like because Light needs someone to talk to about like his plans, like explain things to the audience. So giving Ryuk to talk to it allows him to explain to the audience like what he's doing, what he's thinking, shit like that.
It doesn't. They did it also too in the the other film, the Japanese ones too, because they didn't do any of like inner monologue type of thing in the Japanese one, so
Right.
it
Well,
helps
so
have Ryuk
whenever
even then.
Light needs to explain shit, he like talks to Ryuk.
Yeah,
And Ryuk, I think it was interesting how, like when with Death Gods, like Light assumed like when he first met Ryuk that Ryuk was gonna like take his soul, and Ryuk was like, "No, we don't really give a shit about that, man."
yeah,
I think it was interesting how like he was bored, and that's the whole reason this whole story kicked off.
that is
And
one thing.
like Ryuk isn't malicious; he's just like he just wants to have a good time.
Yeah, that is one thing I really didn't like that they made the change. Ryuk is very malicious in this one, and I didn't mind it the first time, but like he's clearly meant to be like to appease to the horror crowd because anytime like at least in the beginning stages of it and stuff, where he shows up, it's like a big horror thing where they do like a bunch of jump scares and all that type of stuff. I didn't mind it necessarily the first time because again, it was the first time you were gonna see with you. But I remember when Light goes into his room later on, they do it again, and then they do it like a third time. It's like, okay, you're kind of overdoing it now. Like,
Right.
oh,
And it's weird because like again, like Ryuk's okay, so yeah, and like they even had like a warning in the Death Note saying like don't trust Ryuk.
yeah,
Nothing comes from that, by the way.
no,
Um, and
we
also
think,
it's just a strange choice. And also, I don't like it because it takes choices out of Light's hand. Like like Ryuk in the original didn't make Light kill anyone. Like that was all Light. That was all him.
especially too because and but you could never really like help to Light. Like if Light asked a question, he would answer the question, but like it was up to Light to what he did with that information.
Right, like
What
Ryuk
he
said,
was.
like I'm not gonna help you with anything. Like, I'm just watching this, whether you die or not, that's up to you.
I mean, the only thing I think that was like that's anything that's what made Ryuk and Light's relationship like so good too is because when Ryuk didn't tell Light stuff, it made Light was pissed about it. It made the relationship like so much better and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it was interesting. Here, it's I mean, Light's character in this movie has a whole bunch of problems, but like Ryuk's relationship with him definitely is like a factor in that. Where Light just he's not as proactive. He doesn't have like these big goals or ambitions, and it feels like Ryuk's kind of just like forcing him to do this shit.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, what we'll talk about more later.
Yeah,
Light's
so
character is
but ignoring the original. This isn't okay. We should get into this right away. It's an adaptation, so we're gonna compare it to the original, right? Like
yeah,
that's like its own parent. It is calling itself Death Note. I will compare it to other Death Notes.
especially too. It even says like when you look it up on Wikipedia and stuff, it says the 2017 adaptation of the film. It says it clearly it's an
Right.
adaptation.
Because like
So
the directors, when they were getting a shitstorm and a lot of people hated it, they were like, "It's different. You can't compare it to the original." It's like, no, you're calling it Death Note. It's Death Note. And we're not being unfair here. We compared the original movies to the show.
especially to you know, well except L changed the world, but that was I guess but that
We
was
still
also
compared it, but like that wasn't an adaptation. That was like a separate story.
yeah.
So
But
that was
also
nice to compare.
the thing is too, a lot of the stuff they take a lot of the stuff from the anime anyways and try to apply into the movie.
Right.
So
They take shit from the show and just do it worse.
which we'll talk about later, I think. Um, I want
And
to talk about like because that's the way we can. It kind of gives an excuse to talk about Light's character because it's the start. So the
okay,
movie
yeah,
actually,
for the opening scene, um, Reckless plays the song, and we
yeah,
get a bunch of like slow mo shots of like Light School.
yeah,
Um, oh yeah, in the Japanese movie reviews, we talked about how we thought Red Hot Chili Peppers was like a bad choice of songs, not because the song is bad, but because it doesn't fit the tone.
yeah,
That is this entire movie soundtrack,
yeah. It doesn't fit the tone at all, really. No. Um,
especially towards the end, towards like the last 20 minutes. It is so funny the songs that they choose to play. But
I
get
know.
into that later. But your point is, I think Reckless it's a good song, but it was a bad choice for the opening of this movie.
Yeah.
Especially because again, the original show was like the Death Note soundtrack was fucking awesome. Like all the choir music and like
Yeah.
like
I wish we
the
could have
song
gotten like
that when like killing people, like all that. That's such. Those are
That would have been that would have been awesome here if we got it like in live action and all that. I get maybe in the Japanese one they couldn't do it because maybe they didn't have the rights to it or something like that. Like here they easily could have gotten the rights to it. Like
right, yeah. So it's
But because the show's on Netflix, their show is on their distributed factor and all that type of stuff. Like
right. So
streaming
sorry to
service.
interrupt. I just wanted to say like bad choice to start the movie with.
Yeah. It obviously kicks off like this. It's going to be like this dark tone movie. We see like people practicing for like as if there's going to be a football game coming up or cheerleading practice and all that type of stuff. You see Light. You know, you instantly know that it's Light because he's doing like somebody's homework for him, and he basically the person pays him to do this and all that type of stuff.
Right. So it's showing he's like smart.
Yeah. And let's just talk about this right now. Because I think the Japanese one did this. They didn't go there a lot. They never go to the Shinigami realm like once in this movie. Like they should have gone at least in the beginning, like showing Ryu bored or something like that. Like
right, yeah. So the original, the movie didn't show the Shinigami realm, but it showed like the Death Note being dropped to Earth.
Yeah. Here it just happens like right away. No build to it.
Like it's not a big deal when it happens, and
yeah,
I hate that Ryuk drops it at Light's feet.
Yeah, that was terrible because so let's talk about the Death Note drops and they don't make a big deal out of it. Like, and I'm gonna tell you why this is even stupider because when Light kills like he later on kills like a nothing criminal, and it's like a big dramatic thing when he kills this criminal. Like it's like a nothing criminal at all, but there's not a big deal at all when the Death Note. Like that's the biggest thing of the movie.
Oh
like,
yeah. This is like the thing that will change the world, and it's like it just drops. No music, no tone, no nothing.
The music doesn't change. They don't zoom in on it. They don't. And it just drops right next to Light, and he just sees it drop too. Like the anime did it so much better because it wasn't a big thing right away. Yeah, like you just saw it happen in the background, but like Light noticed it. You saw there was a big dramatic on it. Like Light even like was
in slow mode, like you saw it like falling down.
Yeah, and then Light picks up the Death Note, and like.
Do you want to talk about how so? In the original, Ryuk didn't pick Light, but he did here. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about that later?
I think he says it later. To be honest, I remember he said the reason. I still don't even know what the reason was.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we'll get to that when we get to like the classroom scene. Yeah, I guess.
But
Light picks it up, which, okay, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
It starts to pour rain. Everyone like starts to like leave the court area. Like they're in like the school courtyard.
Again, it doesn't happen. It was clearly meant to be a big deal, but it's one of those things where if you watch it, so it's like, okay, so I guess if Shinigami show up, it doesn't happen in the show. Like,
yeah.
But anyhow, and then there's the girl. I think it's meant to be Mia.
It's meant to be Misa from the show. They call her Mia in this.
Yeah. Mia is being picked on by a couple of school bullies and all that type of stuff.
The school bullies are like picking on this other kid, and then Light and Mia see it, and then Mia jumps in, and then Light comes in to defend her.
Yeah, and it's very much implied that Light has an interest in Mia, which is a drastic change from the show.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like I don't have an issue. The movie's so trash, anyways. Like that's not even that much of an issue right now. So,
so these bullies, not a big deal, but like they're such cartoon bullies. They're like, "Oh, I'm taking your lunch money, ha ha ha."
Yeah, and then, it's really weird. Yeah, like Light even goes up and like confronts them and all that type of stuff, which is just not a Light thing to do. He would not go up and like confront bullies like this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's just like standing there watching, and he doesn't get involved until like his crush gets, starts getting involved.
I know, but even that.
But even that would have been a good chance to show like Light's sense of justice. Like he steps in first.
Yeah, for sure.
But like he only gets involved when his crush gets involved.
Yeah, that was really dumb.
And Oh my god. Okay, every time this guy opens his mouth, I cringe so badly. Like, okay,
Mm.
I'm not a lady master. I'm the farthest thing from it. But every time this fucking guy
Are we talking
talks
about
to
the?
Mia or does anything around Mia, I want to slam my face into a glass window.
Yeah, this is just so bad.
Like
Like,
literally, I was rewatching some of it earlier today, and I kept like cringing. I was like, ugh.
especially because it's not light either. So
Like this isn't shit I would have done when I was 14. You know.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, Light sticks up for her. They have like a back and forth where Light tries to like outsmart him, and then he just gets like punched in the face later on.
which is so funny. He's like, you're 18, right? So you would, if you hit me, it'd be child abuse. And the guy just fucking knocks him out anyway.
Yeah, I remember he was like trying to be like,
He was trying to be smart, and they just got his shit wrecked.
yeah, well, this would not happen a lot like the anime. This would not happen a lot at all.
Right. And like Lights in this started screaming at the bully. He's like, back the fuck. I mean, and he just like immediately.
Yeah, it was just so bad.
Oh yeah, Light's a bitch in this. All right, cool.
So then we see Light. Wait, like the next scene we see like Light has like an ice pack on, and like this is just so.
Well, he got knocked out, and then like a teacher came by and saw that like he had other students like homework.
Yeah, but this is just so bad. So like, you see that this kid gets knocked out. And like the next scene we see, like the transition here is so bad. You just see like Light being yelled at about the fact that like he did other kids' homework. Like, wait a minute, we just saw this kid get like knocked out, and he has a legit ice pack like over his eye, and you're worried about at this moment is that he's cheating off somebody else's like home. Even Light, I know Light says it later on, but it's like they acted like they didn't start
Right,
talking
like
about
it's
that.
meant to be like, oh, this is unfair, but it's like, no, this is just like stupid.
Especially
Like this
because
doesn't happen.
did the teacher just like see that Light was copying people's homework when he came to it? Just go, okay, you go into the principal. Like that doesn't ask what happened. Like what?
Right, right, like they didn't take him to a hospital. Like he was knocked out. Oh, and by the way, when the teacher like comes up to him, like she picks up his paper and not like him. Like he's like on the ground, like knocked
Yeah.
out, and the teacher picks up the paper next to him,
Yeah, like
and it's like, what the fuck?
So,
And Light's like, look, all right, I'm in trouble. I get that, but like, you know, you should go after the bullies who are like making shit harder for everyone else. And the
yeah,
principal's like, yeah, you know, some people might feel bad for you because of your situation, but not me. And we
yeah,
later find out the situation is that his mom's dead.
yeah,
What principal does that? Some people might feel bad for you because your mom was murdered, but not me.
yeah. Like that's just such a shitty thing to say. And then like I remember Light tries to say like
Would be fucking fired immediately.
I remember like the principal, like Light and him having like a back and forth conversation about like how he's given like too much hard of like homework assignments and all that type of stuff. And Light has to serve like 2 weeks of detention. The bullies that were like bullying Light, who beat the shit out of him, got off scot-free somehow. Like, how does that happen?
Also, I guess Mia like kind of got Light in trouble. like she didn't like tell him about the bullies, the teacher about the bullies.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, it should.
Yeah, and Light brings that up later, and like he kind of, and then it gets like swept under the rug.
Yeah, and then it's just really weird that like the dynamic that like Light and Mia have in like the beginning portions of this movie because it's like Mia
It's
like
reversed from the show. Like in the show, Light's manipulating Misa,
yeah
but it's like Mia is manipulating Light this whole movie, and Reek's manipulating Light this whole. Basically, everyone's manipulating Light.
yeah, so which is just a complete the same Light. We're meant to believe. I know this is that like basically was more evil than a Shinigami, and he's being manipulated. Like this is just
Right.
And yeah, so then we get to the classroom.
Well, hey, so since we just saw the prince scene, I think we should talk about like how Light's different.
Oh yeah, because they mentioned it. So like, it's mentioned in this movie, and let's also talk about this because we did mention it when we reviewed the Japanese movies. Because the Japanese movies actually got this right. Light's actually popular, which was a big thing in the show.
Yeah, he was popular. He was going to a good college. He had a girlfriend. He was doing great in school. Like, and I like that because to everyone else, like you would never think Light would be Kira.
Yeah.
The guy in this movie, you Kira.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any friends really.
Yeah, he's a loser. No one likes him. He's like a delinquent who like does other people's homework for money.
Yeah,
Um, and and the thing is, I think they're trying to make him more sympathetic in this movie,
which we find out why later on.
but he is more psychotic than Light.
Yeah,
Because when we get to his first kill, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's like I liked, Light. Like you can see how he got so far with the Death Note. He's like incredibly smart. He's good at everything. Like you could see, yeah, this guy was like had the world in his hand for 6 years.
Yeah, like you would honestly, it's just so crazy how it's different. Especially too consider the fact that like, um, you know, it made like more likable. Like I said, you wouldn't have believed he was Kira. It's just crazy how they changed that because here, and it's like you said, they were trying to make sympathy for Light. It's like, why do we need like?
And like the thing is, you don't need to. Like Light's not a good person. Light's a good character, but he's not a good person. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, so we get to the classroom scene.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring this up too. It seems to be a trend because you haven't seen Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Evolution was a American adaptation of Dragon Ball, and they did the same shit where they made Goku this high school loser who like wants this girl who like doesn't care about him, and like he's picked on and bullied.
Yeah, it's like these production companies like think like this is like what people want to see when it's the complete opposite. Like what made Light such a good character to be Kira was because he was smart and intelligent and like thought everything through. Like it was so awesome.
And the thing is, I think they're trying to make him like Spider-Man. Like, like it's funny enough because we were just talking about Green Goblin.
Yeah.
The whole like, high school outcast, great power, great responsibility, yeah. But they take all the likable parts about Peter Parker and just leave like that shit. Like, like Peter Parker's a good person. Like, he's smart, he has good morals. And like he has some friends, he's not like a total loser.
Yeah.
Here it's like they just take like the basic like thing about Peter Parker and put them onto these characters that don't fit. Like Goku and Light are not Spider-Man.
Yeah. And like and it's like a worse version of it too, because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's not even like even if this was about Spider-Man, it wouldn't be good. Because they're taking like Light is not likable, even though they're trying to make him more likable.
Yeah. And then in the classroom, Light's falling asleep because he's at detention. So the teacher wakes him up and says that if he falls asleep, you'll have to serve another day. So she leaves the classroom, and Light pulls out the Death Note, goes through the rules. Oh my gosh, I can't even wait to dive into the rule changes that they made for this fucking thing.
Oh my god, it is a thing.
I don't even remember.
All you had to do was copy the rules, copy, paste all the rules in the show, put it in the movie. That's it. That's all you had to do.
How many rules did they add? They added like 6 rules. That didn't even make any sense.
And they changed already existing rules too.
Yeah. Good thing you know the rules because you remember them easier than I just remember the change. And then, like I said, all that stuff happens where like the entire classroom just basically gets destroyed when Ryuk shows up. Again, I was okay with it here. I'm like, okay, this isn't really how I would like Ryuk to get you to. Because I liked it better how he was introduced like in the Japanese one where he just kind of shows up.
Yeah.
I could have done without all this like marbles falling on the floor and this big dramatic. Like, I thought they were way over dramatic with Ryuk.
I'm like, why is Ryuk even doing this?
Yeah. And like, why would he do this too? Because like, he's in a school. It's not like he's in like an abandoned building or anything. Like, he could easily be found out. I know they couldn't see him, but it was like,
they'd be like, there's a fucking ghost in the school.
Yeah.
And oh my god, Light during this scene, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear me say I hate it a lot during this movie. So Light is screaming like a chicken, like not like a figurative chicken, like a literal chicken, like the animal.
Yeah.
And he's like pounding on the door, and then he starts hiding under the desk and is like curled up in a ball, screaming and crying.
Yeah, it was just terrible. Not a light thing at all. I get because he hadn't used the Death Note at this point, so like maybe his reaction would have been like different, but like in like the other movies and stuff, like Light would not have acted this way at all.
Right.
Like,
Again, he's just like a bitch in this, you know.
yeah. So
Like remember Light in the show, like when he first saw Ryuk, he screamed, he fell out of his chair, he was like scared for a second. But then he like quickly like composed himself and was like, all right.
Funny thing is, when L in the anime reacts to him about Shinigami, like he acted better than this Light did. Like this, like what the hell was going on?
Right.
Like,
and it's just like, again, it's like it's trying to make this guy more relatable by taking away all the interesting things about Light, you know?
yeah.
Like Light is interesting because he's this like seemingly perfect guy who's secretly a power hungry psycho. He's always composed, like calm, collected, cool.
I think what made Light's character better too, like we talked about, is I think Light's had like an we're gonna talk about it later, injustice done to him. Like you're meant to like take his side. Like in the anime, why it was better is because if anything, Light was benefited even anyways without the Death Note. So like
exactly. Like in this movie, he kills Peeps. He justifies it because his mom got murdered.
Yeah.
But like in the show, Light had no reason to really want to use the Death Note. He did it because he was power hungry and he wanted to be a god. And it's like Light was basically like, again, from an outside person, Light had everything: a good family, he was smart, good job. You know, his dad was a police chief.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't benefit from using the Death Note, you know?
Yeah, like
so like it kind of comes off like he is doing this for a good reason.
Especially too because that's what makes his death scene even better is because you saw that image of like him leaving school, like what if he just kept walking type of thing. So
right, like it's almost a tragedy. Like Light in the show was a good person, and he would have had an amazing life in that Death Note. It's kind of a tragedy, you know?
Yeah, but here it's like Light, like well, even though we find out later, like Light. It's like you're meant to feel sympathetic towards Light when he picks up this Death Note, which we're not even into that yet. Like,
yeah, well, he has the Death Note, but he hasn't used it yet.
Yeah, but so
yeah, Ryuk shows up.
Yeah, and
all the shit in the classroom stops like spinning around, and Light's like, "All right, calm down, dude. You're hallucinating a 8-foot tall demon looking motherfucker."
Yeah.
And then Willem Dafoe actually delivered this line pretty good. He was like, "Oh yes, I like that."
Yeah, that was good. And then
although I don't like that. I know this is funny for me because I swear like a sailor, but I don't like this. It's like edgy. Like it feels like a 13-year-old wrote this movie.
Yeah, like I don't really like
swearing all the time. There's a shit ton of blood and gore. And I mean, you're a big horror movie fan. How do you feel about that?
So, yeah, I didn't really mind when I saw like I like horror movies and stuff, and I like blood and gore. I don't love it too much, obviously, but you know,
you're not like actually like a psychopath.
Yeah, but I didn't love it here. Like I said, I didn't love like the grand entrances where Ryuk was getting like it's like they were like I don't mind the horror elements in it, but I was okay with Ryuk getting the first one here, but like he didn't need the one in his room later on. It's like okay, we've seen Ryuk at this point. We don't need to do like this big dramatic entrances. But the blood and gore, I thought was way over the top.
Yeah.
Especially too because like they never. It's also kind of hurts the usage. Again, it kind of hurts Light's character a little bit because the way Light kills these people is just like. Even though Light didn't like criminals, I think he just had them mainly have heart attacks unless he needed.
Right, like they died pretty painlessly. In this movie, Light's a fucking sadistic asshole.
Yeah,
like, he's had people like just die in the most painful way possible. And also, I don't know if you noticed this, no one dies of a heart attack in this fucking movie.
There is one. I think there's one person that does, and that's it.
And so, like, they don't even establish in the rules that like if you don't write the cause of death, they'll die of a heart attack.
Yeah. And then
specifies the way of dying.
Yeah, I thought they went way over the top with the blood and gore. I also hated anytime the Death Note was used. Like they had like this terrible like camera zoom and stuff of like everything that was gonna happen. Like if you like it was so overly dramatic. Like it was
right. Like what's gonna happen? How is he gonna die?
And like some of the ways that they happen is like so like let's just talk about the first. So Ryuk goats Light into the Death Note, which again,
before we get to the murder, I want to talk about that because I put it off earlier. Light in the show, this is another aspect of him being like this perfect guy. Light even asked Ryuk like, "Hey, how come you chose me?" And Ryuk's like, "I didn't. You just found it by chance." But even though Ryuk tells him that, Light kind of gets it in his head that he's like a god and like he was chosen for this. But in the end, he died like anyone else.
Yeah.
He wasn't a god. And you know what? The L movie, even though I didn't like it, L had a really good line about that where he said, "Is the way Light died that, Light didn't die in a very godly way or something."
Yeah.
I liked that. Like, despite, all of his perfections and Light was seemingly this amazing guy, he was still a human like anyone else. Like, he wasn't specifically chosen for this. He found it by chance.
Yeah.
Although, like, if Ryu was going to pick someone for some reason to use the Death Note, he would have chosen someone like Light in the show.
Well, yeah.
This fucking guy.
Yeah.
Why would Ryuk choose this guy?
Especially, too, let's just talk about it, because we mentioned it when we did the review of the one chapter. Ryuk even says he picked that guy because he was like Light and all that type of stuff. So
yeah.
So, yeah, go over why he picks him, because because
he says
know
he
more
wants to separate from the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what the fuck that means.
I still didn't know.
Like, I'm assuming he means he wants Light to kill criminals, I guess.
Yeah, it really was very ambiguous.
Like it's not explained at all.
And it's never explained later on. And I feel like it would have been fine to have this line, had they just had Light act the way he did in the freaking anime, and it would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But no one, who was Ryuk thinking was the weak from the Shaft? Like, everyone was weak in this movie. Everybody,
yeah,
it was
just. And I hate that Ryuk basically manipulates Light into killing someone. In the show, Light was already killing a shit ton of people before Ryuk even showed up. Ryuk even said, when he first met Light, it's like, wow, a few Death Notes humans have used the Death Notes before, but you have by far used it the most in one movie.
Yeah, and then
and that's really cool. It shows who Light is, and he shows he's the one. He has agency. He is the protagonist for a reason. He's doing this stuff. No one's making him do it. He's doing it.
Yeah, especially to
it makes him less interesting in this movie.
It's just really weird. I like the way that Light used the Death Note anyways. Better. He was just doing that to see if it would work. He's just
Light's first kill in the show was a guy who was holding a kindergarten hostage.
Yeah.
Light in this movie, his first kill is his fucking bully.
Yeah. A bully that everybody knows Light has a connection with anyways. So.
Oh yeah. So the guy who Light kills in the show, well, Light didn't even expect it to work. He just saw the Death Note and he's like, "Oh, I'll try it. It's a joke. Whatever. Who cares?"
Yeah.
But then when the guy actually died, he's like, "Holy shit, maybe it did work." But then Light was like, "Okay, I can't be sure." And then he saw this biker dude about to assault a girl. So then he tried it again and it did work. And he's like, "Holy shit, it does work."
He had no connection to any of these people he killed originally.
Right. And again, they were people who absolutely deserved to die.
Yeah.
And they didn't die in horrible ways. They died pretty quickly. They just died of heart attacks. Well, the biker dude got hit by a car, but whatever. This guy, Light has him get fucking decapitated.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So
in front of the girl he was bullying. So thanks, Light. You saved this girl from getting bullied, but you gave her PTSD for the rest of her life.
Yeah. So yeah, the way the decapitation happens, it was just so fucking weird. They had to overcomplicate it too. They couldn't just have him get decapitated. What happens is, this is I say this is just some bullshit. I believe what happens is he's bullying this girl, and I think a car goes by, and a bunch of someone drops their groceries or something, and then a car's swirling around with a ladder on it. And the ladder falls off the bed of his truck and takes his head off.
Slams his head off.
Like
literally cuts his head in half.
Like, talk about overthinking like a decapitation. You couldn't just have like, I don't know, like it was just so and like it made it. It didn't really make the Death Note feel special. It's like, oh, what a coincidence! These people just happen to be going by right when that gets fucking written in. Like,
Yeah,
but
like I kind of had an issue in the show. Like I always wondered what happens if no like if Light wrote this guy gets hit by a car, like
Yeah.
what would happen if there were no cars around?
yeah, but here was worse because like, what a
Well,
coincidence!
that's kind of just like all right, that's a little weird, but it's not a big deal. This is like so stupid how it works.
Yeah, and then yeah, so it ends up working. And then it cuts to the next scene pretty much where Light's having dinner with Chief Turner. I almost let me look up his name. I almost just said Tim Turner.
James Turner.
James Turner.
Yeah, by the way, to make this Light more sympathetic, he lives in a shitty house that's like right next to a train.
Yeah.
Like his house shakes whenever a train goes by. His mom's dead, as we find out.
Which they just switched Misa's story pretty much with Light's kind of.
Pretty much. And then like him and his dad are arguing about it because
I feel like they never really like knew what they wanted the relationship between Light and his dad. Sometimes like I get like sometimes parents and stuff, but sometimes they're like at each other's throats, and then sometimes they like love each other. Like there was never any in between. They could never like decide.
Super weird and like inconsistent throughout the whole movie.
I mean, I feel like too it made it unexciting. Because I think the best excitement I get because it's a movie, they couldn't obviously stretch it out or anything like that. But they kind of ruined the excitement when they just kind of announced that like, his dad was like a chief already. Because what the biggest excitement in the show was we didn't know Chief Yagami was even.
Oh yeah, it was cool. We were following Chief Yagami, but we didn't know he was like dad for a couple episodes.
Yeah. So like I kind of thought they kind of ruined that a little bit. Like it was just really bad. But him and his dad get into an argument. And
because Light was cheating, basically.
And they get into an argument about like
this. Ryuk trashed the classroom, so how did Light not get in trouble for that?
Yeah, they never explained that. Yeah.
It's really stupid. But
and then they argue about like what happened with his mom, how the killer just got off scot-free and stuff, and like how Chief Turner really didn't do anything about it. And like we said, I think we talked about it too. I think the guy that plays Chief Turner does a pretty decent job at it, though, even though the movie sucks.
Right, but like he's totally different from Chief Yagami,
Yeah.
Like character. So.
But yeah. So they have an argument about it, and they just kind of like the argument just kind of ends. No one really wins the argument. Like just kind of goes upstairs. And again, it's really weird because you're meant to kind of like side with Light in this argument, and it's just not how it happened in the show.
Right.
And then he goes upstairs, and it ends up where
Ryuk shows up again in like another like weird horror thing.
I think this is when we didn't even mention one of the rule changes that they made. I think it was definitely different. Where Light did
they go over the rules in this scene.
Yeah, one of the rules was let's just go over one of them now because I think it was mentioned in the classroom, but it was talked about more here. Was that Light didn't necessarily have to like keep the Death Note. He could just like he could just leave it alone.
Give Ryuk to have it find someone else, or he could like leave it alone for 7 days and he'll find a new person.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit.
Well, no, isn't that how it worked in the show? Like, if Light can just give up ownership?
They never said he gave up ownership, though. He could just, because I don't mind the first rule, but the other rules where he could just leave it alone for 7 days and then like nothing happens. Like, I don't think that was a rule.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
But, I think another rule was like he could control somebody for like 2 days. It's like that wasn't a rule before.
Was it? I don't remember. I know he can control people for a little bit.
Not 2 days though.
Yeah, I think it was like 24 hours or something.
Yeah.
Keep talking about the scene.
So there was that rule. They go over other rules, but there's like 96 rules in this freaking Death Note this time. I don't think there's 96. There's a lot of rules, but there's not 96. I guess these rules don't get like bullshit yet. Like they get bullshit. They get way more bullshit later on. But This is one that
Oh,
was like
okay.
bullshit.
Okay, so the default cause of death is a random accident in the movie. A victim can only be controlled for 2 days. In the show, they can be controlled for 23 days.
Okay, so that's fine then.
Oh, actually, yeah. So I know why they made this change. So in the show, you can control someone for almost a month. In this, it's only 2 days because of what happens with Atari. They gotta make it dramatic, intense.
Yeah, that we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Although I think I know what you mean. So with the controlling people, here you can control people way more.
Yeah, like way more.
Like I remember in the show, like Light couldn't make someone do something that they wouldn't do normally. Okay, so like what I mean is, Light had a prisoner told a prisoner to draw L's face perfectly,
Yeah,
but because the guy didn't know what L looked like, he couldn't do it.
right.
And another one like
The
Light had
bus, the
Light
bus
wanted him to
hijacking.
write. What's up?
The bus hijacking was a big one. Like, yeah, he made him do it, but like the guy was still kind of acting like himself even then.
Oh yeah, the
Like,
bus jacker. Yeah, he was still acting like a criminal. Like
yeah,
he would have done that normally.
yeah,
And like there's another prisoner like said that like he wanted him to write a message for L, but he didn't because like he would have no reason to like write that specific message.
right.
So like the point is Light can't like make someone do like crazy shit like that. Like he can't give them information they don't have already.
Yeah.
Later in this movie, and also you can't control someone and make them kill someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously because if he could, he would just have someone go kill L.
Yeah.
He'd be like he'd write a police guy's name in the notebook. Oh yeah, he goes and shoots L in the face.
Yeah.
Actually, in the
The
Japanese movie, they
they
have
made
an
that.
interesting workaround for that.
Yeah, it was a great workaround.
Yeah, so Light was that was a big plot point in the finale that Light couldn't make anyone kill anyone.
So he
So
made like,
he wrote it in a specific way that like that was the only way it was gonna happen.
yeah,
So he wrote that Naomi Misumi like brings her gun to
yeah,
like the museum, and then he also wrote that his girlfriend gets shot with a gun,
and she was the only one with a
and
gun
the
at
only
the
one
museum.
around with a gun. So like it was a cool workaround.
Yeah.
In this movie, you can just have people fucking kill other people. Like later on, we see a terrorist blow himself up and like a bunch of other people.
Yep.
So why doesn't he just have someone go murder L for him?
Well, there was another case.
Oh, and
I
later
think.
on in the movie, he has Watari call his phone number, even though Watari doesn't have his phone number.
Well, he does say the number specifically, like 1617, all that type of stuff. So
That's what I'm saying. He wrote in the notebook like Watari will call this phone number.
yeah,
Now,
that's true.
Watari doesn't know that phone number.
Or like,
Why
yeah,
would he ever call it? Or how would
yeah, that's just so weird. Yeah, and like, I don't necessarily know if like, I mean, this is probably a little. Maybe this was the workaround. Like they say, Watawi like completely like shuts off like communication from like the real world. Like, why wouldn't L just like go over to Watawi later on and just be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Like he knows where he's staying. Like, why didn't he just
Yeah,
like?
it's weird. And well, this is the information thing is a big deal because later on, Watari reveals he doesn't know L's name.
Yeah. So he should just have a heart attack, correct?
Well, no, well, the thing is, if Light can just give Watari his phone number,
Yeah.
why can't he just reveal his name?
Yeah, that's just weird.
Like, because clearly, like again, Watari doesn't know Light's phone number, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if he doesn't.
So they really
And
screwed
yeah, he
up.
should just die of a heart attack if he doesn't know the information.
Yeah, because remember that's what happened. Like he was gonna have like someone had to like go to like the Atlantic Ocean or something like 24 hours. I mean, I know this is a completely different thing, but they just died of a heart attack. Like Watari should have died of a heart attack if he didn't know
Oh
L's name.
yeah. In the show, he was like, "Oh hey, get on a 12-hour flight in the next couple hours." Like
Yeah.
it wasn't gonna happen, so he died of a heart attack.
So that's what Watari should have died of a heart attack because he didn't know L's name.
Yeah, he
So
should just die normally. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, yeah, there's a
I didn't
bullshit
even
on
think
that.
about that. Yeah, that's smart.
There's a bullshit on that later on too, though.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so obviously
So in the show, people knew about Kira because of the heart attacks, And then Light was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Everyone will think the heart attacks are Kira. And then if I ever want to kill anyone like discreetly, I can have them die in a different way."
Yeah, that
Heart
doesn't
attacks
happen here.
aren't a thing in this movie. They never even say specifically like, you know, if if you don't write a cause of death.
Yeah, no one dies of a heart attack. And then, like, I'll admit, I think we trashed the fact that, like, in the original anime, not
Oh
the,
yeah, in
but
the
the,
original movie, everyone's like acting when they were having a heart attack was like so bad.
but like, still, at least they actually kept that stipulation, though.
Right.
Like,
And again,
yeah,
it makes this Light seem way more sadistic. Like in the show, he has them have a heart attack and they die like painlessly.
yeah,
And this, he's having them like die in the most horrific ways possible.
yeah. Oh, but let's get to his first, like, here's the second one, by the way. Like, great stuff right here, because this ends up turning out Light later on. Who does Light pick as his next victim? Of course, the fucking same guy that murdered his mother. Like, that's not gonna fucking raise any questions.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I know, right? Like it's oh my god.
because it
Oh
ends
no,
up hurting.
sorry. Before that, there's more bullshit.
Oh, there's more bullshit.
Yeah, sorry, I totally forgot. But a small line, Ryuk holds up his hands, and Light's like, "Your fingers are huge." That was the stupidest shit.
That was so
I don't
good.
know. It's so like Light is just such a bitch in this movie.
And they had like a lot of jokes that like wouldn't even be in, like, I get it's an adaptation, but like that's who, like, no one would even say, like, Light didn't even say that in the show. Light didn't say that in
Light's
the,
so much less intimidating in this.
yeah. But
And oh, God, there was another rule that was like stupid.
they did talk about the rule, like, like, you can't do something that's impossible. So, like, Ryuk says, like,
Yeah,
you can't.
so Ryuk says like, hey, no shark attacks in the toilet. Apparently, you can fucking rip apart a Ferris wheel though.
Yeah, you can.
So we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's stupid. Was there any more stupid rules? I think we'll talk, because they talk about more of them later on.
The one page thing. About this now. They don't reveal this rule until it's important. But because that's a thing. I feel like they should have revealed that rule here. Because it's like really weird. Like they don't bring it up until it's important.
Yeah. So apparently, let's talk about it. You can only burn one page from the Death Note, and the one page that you burn, whoever's name is written on that one page won't die. They'll be exempt from death. It's like, what the fuck is that?
How does that work? Okay, so like if Light wrote multiple people's names on one page, would they all be safe or just one?
Yeah, they don't even really explain that.
Yeah, they don't explain this at all.
And like, what if like, say because obviously later on, like, say Maya like wrote someone's name she wanted to be like exempt, but like, say, because Light always kept the Death Note with him. What if Light just started writing other names in there like later ones, and like, like, didn't know about it? Oh, it has to be with like within what? Didn't it have to be like within like 12 hours or something like that? Like, it was some.
I think it needs to be like before they die.
Yeah. But that was just such bullshit because
it's basically just Light's get out of jail free card at the end.
Yeah, which I don't really like that they added like a get out of jail free code.
Right. Like
it makes Light look lucky that he lived.
But yeah, Light in this movie is not smart. He never does anything that's like, oh damn, he did it again. Like in the show, there's like every episode, it's like, oh my god, Ellen and Light, they're so smart. Like everything they do, it's like crazy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they use information that we all already knew.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, especially
everything out of their ass.
I mean, that's
Near in the show because he constantly pulls shit out of his ass. Ellen Light weren't doing that.
Yeah. If anything, Light became fucking Neo pretty much. Like,
yeah, Light basically Near in this movie.
Except maybe, I hate to say it too, maybe a worse version of Nier. This is honestly what.
For real, how do you make someone worse than Nier?
Oh, it's so bad. But let's talk about this.
I remember the other thing I hated in the scene. Light asks him, "So what about that warning in the notebook?" And Ryuk's like, come on, are we really going to talk about that?" And then Light's like, "Yeah, you're right." I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Why wouldn't you talk about that? Like,
it's okay. So this is a fucking death god who's manipulating you into killing people. There is a warning in the notebook that's like, don't trust this guy. He's not your friend. And then Light's like, meh, it's fine.
Oh, this is so bad. All right, so let me rant here. Let's talk. So yeah, Light picks. We can rant about like who Light picks his first victim now, right? We've gotten all the everything
I
else.
got all out of the way. Sorry, I just wanted to vent. That scene fucking sucked.
Oh, it's this whole movie sucks.
Oh,
Can you imagine how this video would be if I loved this movie?
oh my god. I'd say that'd be really fun, you know, be a nice back and forth. But I'm
Yeah.
glad we can both just mutually shit on it.
But yeah. So of course, Light the next victim Light picks is the fucking guy that murdered his mom. Like that's not gonna fucking raise any questions.
Yeah.
And
So far he's killed his school bully
yeah,
and his mom's a murderer. So two people very connected to Light.
yeah. Or his dad, because he could be, and his dad too. I mean, not not the bully, but like but
the mom's murderer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how does Light have him die? He has to basically have a steak knife impaled in his neck. It's like, what the fuck is that?
So, like, did Light specifically write that? Like, he had to have, right?
Yeah, I think he
Light
did.
wrote in the Death Note, like, because we didn't see what he wrote. I'm guessing he wrote, like, this guy will get impaled with a fucking steak knife at dinner.
What if he wasn't out having steak? Like, what the fuck was that? Like, or what if he wasn't? Or what if he was vegetarian?
Yeah,
what if he was vegan?
Okay, I guess he's safe.
What if he's vegan? Like,
yeah.
Like honestly,
he might be a murderer, but come on, he's not a complete monster.
Yeah. Or like, what if he was just? Because it was pretty late at night. What if he was just at home in bed? Like,
right, what if he's just like taking a shit? What if he already ate? What if he ate steak an hour earlier?
Yeah, like what the like? Honestly, that's so fucking bullshit.
Wow, that's so stupid. So of course, the way they directed that scene is really dumb too. There's a bunch of like cuts.
Yeah.
And like the music is like horror movie. You know,
Yeah.
it's I don't know, it's stupid.
And it looks really weird, like how he fucking like. I didn't even realize he got like impaled with a stick. It just looked like he like choked to death. Like there's no blood, there's no anything. Like
this movie is such a weird combination of like horror movie and like a teen drama.
Oh, the teen drama's coming soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So then Chief Turner finds out. Every time I say Chief Turner, I keep wanting to say
Timmy Turner. Yeah, I know.
But anyhow, Chief Turner finds out about this, and he's like kind of he's like relieved about it, but also kind of doesn't know how he feels about it, obviously, because it's
and for again as Death Note, I don't like it, but for this movie as its own thing, I kind of like this scene because it's like I think it gives Light Light seeing like the good effects of using the Death Note, like he's seeing his dad so happy.
Yeah.
And like, they make up from the fight from the other day.
But again, wanted to
like,
also
as Light Yagami, as an adaptation of Death Note, I don't like it.
Yeah,
but as its own thing, it's fine.
But let's talk about the reason why it sucks as the adaptation is because like I'm like, wait, I'm not supposed to be in support and Light. I'm not supposed to feel sorry for him. Like this is like he's a psychopath.
Yeah. Light's supposed to be a horrible person. He's again, I think he's worse in this movie because instead of like killing a guy who's holding a kindergarten hostage with a heart attack, he has a school bully have his head explode.
Yeah. But and like I said, Light didn't use the Death Note really ever, unless for vengeance really, until he had to go up against
personal.
Until he had to go up against like L and stuff like that. Then it got kind of
like L was the only one where he was like gloating that he killed someone. Before that, it was pretty like impersonal.
Yeah. But anyhow, let's continue. So the next day they're at school. Light's looking through the notebook.
He's looking at the Death Note in the open. Entire class.
Remember that awesome scene, by the way, where like Light makes like that thing that makes the fake bottom on the desk where like the whole place would burn down if like the thing got open and all that type of stuff.
Right,
that brilliant scene.
So careful with the Death Note.
Here he's just fucking looking at the death, and you know what? And it ends up biting him in the ass because what happens? Here comes Maya or Misa. I don't even fucking care.
Whatever the fuck her name is, bitch is what her name is.
She comes up and is like, "What's that book right there?" And she just thinks it's like random poetry that he's reading and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah. So she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I can't tell you." And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you really want to know?"
It's like he was like desperate about it. Like why would you want to tell?
So desperate for a girlfriend. I watched like a review of this back when this first came out, and like The response for this scene was so funny. The guy was like, "Boy, write your name in that book and die a virgin."
Yeah, pretty much. But they go to like a
oh my god, he's just so fucking stupid.
they go into a separate classroom to talk about this. Why fucking go to a separate classroom? You already had the fucking book out anyways. Just talk about it there. Not like anyone's gonna be listening to you. And he has her like touch the notebook, and she touches the notebook. I'm like, okay, cool. So she's gonna see Ryuk. She doesn't see Ryuk. They change the fucking
change in this that only Light can see Ryuk.
Yeah. Why? One, it also kind of ruins the dynamic between him and Ryuk because there's no one because they end up partnering up later on. There's no fucking point in having Ryuk now because he could just talk to her now. So it's like it kind of ruins Ryuk's purpose in the movie.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. It's just like a weird change. Like it's not like a huge deal, but it's just like weird. I don't get it.
Especially too because there's even points where like they even do it in this movie where it's like a running, it's not a running joke, but it's a couple of times where it's annoying where he talks to Ryuk and then she says something like, "What is that?" It's like, "Oh, I was talking to Ryuk." Like it's just such weird, but they do
it's really
moments
weird.
like
yeah, just make it so she can see him. Like I don't know why.
It's like they have to overcomplicate everything in this movie. Like,
yeah.
So obviously, he tells her about everything that's been going on, how he caused all the deaths and everything, and she doesn't believe him at first. And then what happens? This is what Light finally wisens up and it actually goes to someone that's unconnected to him. What a nice 2 persons ago.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so he pulls. By the way, but again, I hate that they're doing this at school.
Yeah.
So
there's cameras in the fucking school, like
right.
But
then again, if anyone just walks up to Light and asks what the notebook is, he'll just gladly show them how it works.
Yeah, especially to.
So we find out in this movie, Mia's just like a psycho. Imagine if she was just like a normal girl.
Yeah.
Imagine Light just like killed someone in front of her, and she wasn't like, "Oh, damn, that's cool." Like he's fucked.
Yeah, he's fucked. Or like, Also too, like, apparently too, like I don't even know. Was this after? I guess this was after school. I guess they could just go into classrooms and stuff randomly.
I feel like it wasn't because I was just in gym class.
Yeah, so like,
I think they just went into like the empty cafeteria. I guess.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. But yeah, so, we see this person has taken
his wife and the kids hostage.
And Light writes in the death note that this person will. And he like completely controls. Like they go over the top in how much they control this fucking guy too. Like he can't just fucking come out and get hit by a car. Yeah, they have to go through all the fucking rigmaroles. They have him do a fucking salute. It's like I feel like the salute was really unnecessary. Like what the fuck? Why would Light have him do a salute? Like it was so stupid.
I guess it was because to like really show like he can control him.
But it was like yeah.
Well, like again, it's so stupid. Like that he can control him that much.
Yeah. And
like should have just had him come out and like start like shitting on the ground, you know?
Yeah, but this guy comes out and he takes this he comes out with like one of the kids, I think.
He's like holding a gun to his wife's head.
Yeah,
and then he just like drops his gun and the wife runs back inside.
And he
does the salute and then he just like gets rammed by a SWAT car.
Again, how the fuck? Like the thing I don't understand is, I understand they wrote it in the death note, but like, why didn't? I mean, I guess they didn't want to shoot the kids, but like, how does this prevent him from like getting like shot at a bunch of times by like the police or something like that? Like,
yeah. The second he stepped out, the police should have been like on him.
Yeah.
I mean, the SWAT car was on him, but not in that way.
Yeah. But anyhow, so when she sees that Light controlled this causes her to believe him. Again. Very unlike Light to have someone die this way, but we that many times.
Like if it like used the gore more sparingly, it'd make a bigger deal. Like in the show, like the deaths weren't super gory. Although, remember Elle's funeral in like the director's cut?
Yeah,
that gave like an alternate. Like remember that like Light was killing all those business guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, like that was like those were pretty gory, like and bloody. And that was like the only time it got like really bloody and gory.
Yeah.
And it was more impactful because it was like used more sparingly, you know?
Yeah.
So like everyone's just dying in like the most stupid way here. So it like
if you remember Lights, I know he dies of a heart attack, but like before that, like it's pretty gory because he gets shot at like a bunch of times.
Right, like he gets shot a bunch of times and he's like all bloody and stuff. So like, it's more effective because it's like used sparingly.
Yeah,
and it's also just like less edgy.
I mean, I think too. We also had it wasn't also impactful anyways because we just saw the high school bully of all people get like decapitated before this anyway. So it was just
and then the guy got like stabbed in the back and blood spewed out of his mouth.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like, all right, this one's it stopped meaning anything. It's like, oh, okay, got ran over, whatever.
So then so they do, let's just say they do basically a montage. Mia and Light basically decide to work together to take out all the criminals like Light did originally and all that type of stuff. Except here it's not really as good now because they've ruined Light's character.
Oh, well, a couple things before that. They have a scene like where they're just talking outside of like a cafe or whatever.
Yeah.
And Light's like explaining his motivation. It's like, because of what happened with my mom, it feels right to like be killing criminals. And Mia's basically just like goading him on, like, yeah, you should.
Yeah. I mean, again, I guess in context, I guess it's not a bad thing, but because it's fucking Light.
Right, again, like for this, if this movie is its own thing, it's whatever. But like as Death Note, it's awful.
Yeah.
Then they go back to his house. They have a scene where Light's about to kiss her, and he's like, "Can I kiss you?"
Oh, it was so unlike Light. It was like, "What are you doing?"
That was a scene where I was cringing a lot, where I'm like,
She even said, like, you don't even have to ask. It's like, oh, like, what are you doing to this guy? Like,
and in the show, whenever when they ever have like a big montage of like Light killing a bunch of people, it's pretty cool, right? Like it's fucked up, but like it's like badass kind of,
Yeah, it wasn't that way here.
And like they got the epic music in the background. Like I love that song they use. In this movie, it's okay. The song they play during this montage is so unfitting.
Yeah.
And it's also like people dying and then like like having sex. It's like so fucked up.
Not even that, but like they just like the deaths that they write are fucking dumb too. Like I think
But like it's just like they're trying to make this Light more sympathetic, but like he's just like he's just way worse. Like he's like getting his rocks off with his girlfriend while killing all these people.
And then eventually we see it like a bow in the this is how they also go through how because Kira gets his name. Now I'm pretty
my god.
The way he gets his name is really stupid. So can you correct me if I'm wrong? I'm pretty sure Light didn't pick the name, right? He was given that name, right? Everyone kind of gave him that name.
It showed like he kind of had like a cult following.
Oh, that wasn't that way here. So Light picked the name. Let me just talk about it. So obviously they wanted to get that Japanese adaptation in there. That Japanese
right. Like I do sympathize a bit here because like there's not really a natural way to make hero work in this because it's not like a Japanese adaptation, it's an American one.
So they say that Kira he's gonna call himself Kira, which means death in Japanese. And isn't that like another reason he called himself Kira? It's like some other
no. Okay, so in the show Kira was just like how a Japanese person would say the English word killer.
Yes.
Like in Japanese there's no L sound, so saying killer in Japanese is Kira.
Yeah. What's the
so in this movie they say Kira is the Japanese word for killer. It's not.
Okay, so there you go.
Also, he says that it means light in Russian and Celtic. First of all, don't use your alias if it connects to your fucking name.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's also wrong. Kira doesn't mean light in Russian. And in fact, in Irish, Kira means dark.
The fuck is going on here then?
So they got the Japanese wrong, they got the Irish wrong, and they got the fucking Russian wrong.
Everything wrong. Like,
it's so dumb.
And then, like you said, like, why the fuck is he using his alias name? Like, why the fuck is it
next to his real name?
Yeah, like. Honestly, like Elle was why the fuck was Elle struggling to solve this case this whole movie? He should have fucking known that. Yeah. I mean, like it took him what? Like we haven't even got to fucking Elle yet of all things too. Like, let's also talk about that. Like, I know Like I get the first couple of episodes. Elle's not even in this movie. It's like an hour. An hour. This movie
Yeah, it takes
is
a while for Elle to show up. Oh, and
yeah.
by the way, so Elle's okay. Light's god complex isn't even like a thing here. Light says like one time that he wants to be a god,
Mm.
but like it's like weird. So he's like, they want a god, someone to look out for them. Let's do that. That's
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's okay. Like you said in the Elle movie, like I don't think Elle would want to change the world, and it should have been like Elle versus the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Light wanted to give people a god. He just wanted to be a god. You know,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
like it's a small thing, but I think it makes a big difference.
Yeah. So we see after one of Kira's killings, I believe this was like a shootout that happened in Japan. It was like between like two groups in Japan or something like that. Like
Yeah,
got
and
into a
like
shootout.
the detective says, like, you know, these guys have had a truce for 10 years. There's no, you know, like no like regular person would know about this.
So then Al mentions that it's like not a regular person, so he goes to Seattle. So let's say this, at least in the beginning stages, I don't mind the guy that plays Al. He does a pretty decent job at it. Again, it's really tough because I just saw the Japanese version.
Right, that perfect guys, not.
Yeah, so it's kind of like he doesn't really like. Yeah, he's just not. I feel like I said, if I probably saw this movie first, I probably wouldn't necessarily have as big of an issue with it as here. So
I don't, even then, like, you know, based on the show, this guy is just like completely different.
yeah,
Like again, it's mannerisms good, but he just like looks not like L.
Yeah,
and that's just an issue with this guy. It's an issue with L, with Light and Mia, you know, too.
Because we'll just
racist in the comments.
Yeah, let's just we'll just say it because the person's black, but yeah.
I was trying to avoid it, but like yeah, look, I mean, I don't like that Light and Mia are white either, you know.
Yeah,
and I don't like that they're Atari Asian. Like, you know, just make them the races that they are in the thing. It's not that hard.
And then so L flies over to
so L so all these people got murdered. Again, super gory. Again, it's just like this Light is an asshole. Even though they're trying to make him sympathetic. And you know, L revealed that he like has been leaking these types of criminals to like
police
databases. So like so he can know like, okay, yeah, Kira has like police information.
Yeah. Which I guess I think it was something that L I guess kind of would do.
I don't know, because it's like with the whole Lindell Taylor thing, he was a death row inmate that was going to get executed that day anyway.
Yeah, so
like these guys like weren't in any danger, and L just like got them murdered.
I know, for no reason. So that's just really stupid. Yeah,
and you know, like Lindell Taylor was one guy,
and
he was already on death row. These are just like an entire club of people murdered.
Entire cult, like two groups of people, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like L's just like a sicko in this movie.
Yeah, he actually added a whole truce between two like colonies or whatever. Like,
yeah, he said these gangs have been in truce for like 10 years.
Yeah, he just ended a whole truce for like 10 years. Like,
yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still criminals, they're not good people, but still.
Yeah, but yeah, so he flies over to Seattle, and there's a scene where Chief Toner, I think him and like Light have like a disagreement about what's going on with the Kira thing. They do a little bit with that. Obviously, not much happens. Again, they can't decide if Light wants to have a good relationship with his dad or a bad one. They just
and by the way, Light is like so obviously Kira. Like, you know, in the show, like Light was very like against Kira, or he pretended to be against Kira.
Yeah.
In this movie, Light is like, oh, Kira's great. You know, criminals are killing, you know, are like turning themselves in, and they're like dying.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but when, you know, his dad starts talking about how he's evil, he's very like visibly like upset. He's like, hey Dad, what would happen if they found Kira? And the dad's like, I don't know, they probably execute him or dissect him.
I'll just talk about
it. Light's very visibly like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
let's talk about there's a scene. I think there's a scene later on. It's after his dad meets Al. I just want to talk about it now, where he even comes downstairs and has like his dad talk about the case like with him, and it's like so obvious.
Like, hey Dad, so what's this L guy like? Huh? Who's he? Huh? Crazy.
How does he know about him? Like, I guess, yeah, because he was on the news. But like, um, and also too, it wasn't like a big thing like in the fucking TV show that they couldn't talk about the case at all outside of
Oh, yeah, that was a big thing. Like Chief Yakimi wasn't giving like any information. Because he was
nobody
a
got
detective. In this movie, his dad's like, "Oh, sure, I'll tell you all about the case."
yeah. Like even Elle said, do not tell your families about this case. Like it was very, very clear that he wasn't supposed to do that. But anyhow, Chief Turner goes to and Chief Turner's like in a fight with like some of the other cops and stuff. I think he's like the only cop that believes that what Kira's doing is wrong. So like he goes in and his like office is trash, which is like
Yeah. And I think that's kind of interesting that he says it later to Watari that Kira's like cutting down the most wanted list. So a lot of cops are like thankful that like he's doing good and he's doing the job.
I just don't see like a bunch of, what are we fucking like in teenagers like 13 years old like going to trash
this murderer.
Yeah.
So I find it weird that the entire police department's like, yeah, Kira.
I think the biggest thing is like, are they all 13 like going to trash in the guy's office? Like what the hell?
Oh yeah. That's Jesus.
Like can you imagine like Aizawa the trash Chief Yagami's office? Like how stupid that would be. Like
oh, and that's another thing. Because every police except Light's dad is against Kira, there's like no task force.
Yeah,
okay, so I like Matsuda and I like Aizawa. The rest of them are kind of like bland. I don't even like remember their names.
Yeah.
But like again, I like Matsuda and Aizawa, so it's a shame that like they're not in this at all.
Especially cool because now we got because of what Matsuda's last thing in Death Note ever is going to be. So that sucks.
Yeah. So.
But no, but yeah, this sucks because like there's no task force. It seems like it's just like L and like Chief Turner like solving this case. Like that's
right.
it.
Like, no one else is doing shit.
Yeah, like everyone else is kind of just fine not doing shit. Like it's really stupid.
Right. And in the show, like the reason the task force wasn't bigger was because Light just killed all those like FBI agents. So a lot of police like didn't want to be doing this.
And obviously later on, the FBI agents get killed. But it's like you've already told the storyline now of why the cops aren't in it, so you don't really need to kill the FBI agents anymore.
And again, like I kind of like the idea that like some cops are like for Kira, but like all of them, and then like you said, trashing his office, it's dumb. Yeah.
So Waterwee goes up, and he basically introduces Chief Turner to L.
Yeah. Wait, in this movie, so remember in the show, Watari wasn't his real name.
What was his real name?
It was like Quillish Wemming.
Oh yeah, because
something like super British.
Because of the paper, it was
Well, because remember, like his name's Watari, but he's a super British guy, so that obviously wasn't his real name.
Yeah, but I remember it says his real name like in the eulogy, like in the newspaper.
Yeah. And then in this movie, his name is actually Watari.
Which is dumb because then
he doesn't have a last name. It's only Watari. His name is just Watari.
Which is really stupid because that makes the whole Watari thing when he gets controlled by the Death Note even stupider later on. Like
and it's also dumb because he's L's right-hand man. So remember in the beginning of Death Note, like Watari also like wore like a trench coat and like a mask.
Yeah, not here.
And again, he went by Watari, which isn't his real name.
Yep.
And it makes sense because if L is like hiding his identity, of course he would hide his like adopted father's identity.
For sure.
So in this movie, Watari's just going around with his real face out and like his real name.
And this ends up biting him in the ass later.
And it's literally a plot point, that he's just a dumbass.
Yeah. So
but again, his name is just Watari.
Yeah.
He has no last name, no middle name. His parents looked at him and were like, "What should we call him?" Watari. Yeah. That's it.
No last name. Yeah, like who comes up with a name like that? Like, I don't even know.
That's a joke in Superbad, where like one of the guys gets a fake ID and it's like his name is Steele. Yeah. It's McLovin. And then and the guys are like, "Why do you only have one fucking name?"
Yeah. But
like, literally a joke in Superbad.
But yeah, so L and Chief Turner agree to work together to take down Kira. It was cool that we got to see like his logo and stuff. I guess that was pretty cool. Even though his
Yeah, it
voice
was like
really,
inverted, which was kind of cool.
his voice really wasn't disguised as much. Like,
Yeah,
as
he didn't use a voice modifier. Also,
yeah,
like it's like I think you said it earlier. It kind of takes the mystery away. Where like we already know what he looks like.
yeah,
Remember on the show we saw his emblem, and then we saw what he looks like. And
yeah.
this we already know what he looks like, and then we just get the L logo.
That one's, it's like why I like Death Note so much because yeah,
Yeah, it builds up like a mystery of who he is. And like you said, no voice modifier.
yeah.
And like no one seems to like respect L at all.
Yeah, no. And like, they do a storyline where like he never like gets enough sleep and all that type of stuff. It doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't go anywhere.
Although I do think it's kind of cool that like Watari keeps like worrying about him sleeping enough, and like he like sings him a lullaby. It's like again I just like L and like Watari's like father son relationship.
Yeah, it's really good.
Although that's more because of the original. That's not really because of this.
Yeah. So, Chief Toner and L are trying to figure out how Kira is killing all these people. So let's just say they basically redo the Lindell Taylor thing, except instead Al himself goes up there. And because Light doesn't know his name, he can't write his name into the Death Note or anything like that. Like this scene was still fine, but it's like, it's kind of ruined. Like it's not as good as the Lindell Taylor
Right.
thing.
It's like it's just not smart,
Yeah.
Like
Especially
it's showing L has like balls, I guess, but like
yeah.
like he's gutsy.
Also, again, not a very L thing to do. Like you wouldn't picture L doing this in the anime or even in the Japanese movie.
It also like doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Like again in the show, it proved like okay, Kira needs a name and a face to kill because he killed Lindell Taylor, but he couldn't kill like actual L.
Yeah.
And he also proved he was in the Kanto region of Japan because of he killed the guy who was like holding up a kindergarten hostage.
Yeah, because that
was only shown like on the news in Japan. That wasn't shown outside of Japan.
Because that fact was already known before he even says like the criminal that he killed that was taking a mother and a daughter and stuff hostage was only aired in Japan. Like, what was L trying to prove? No, not Japan, but Seattle.
But also, that's bullshit. Because so Light didn't find it on the news. He found it online. He just Googled it.
That's right. Yeah. So it's like.
So he just Googled like live crime scene.
Yeah. So he could have found it. Anyone could have found that then. Yeah.
Yeah. So L shouldn't even be in Seattle.
Yeah. So a new thing happened kind of here. So, but yeah. So
again, this is just an example of this movie like trying to like take stuff from the show and like change it, but like doing it way worse and fucking it up.
And this is like one of my favorites. Like this is the scene that like really made me a fan of Death Note too. And
I remember you talked about this like because I just told you like it's about this guy who like kills people with a notebook.
I even remember.
You didn't really know like anything beyond that. So when we got to episode 2, and
I think I was even saying to you like this is just like a hype guy to like. I was even saying to you like this is just a hype guy to make Light look even stronger. Like you took out this big detective law, and then all of a sudden we got this awesome scene out of it that I'm gonna.
Yeah, and it changes the entire show. The entire show was about L versus Light.
Yeah, here it's like this scene's like they ruined my favorite scene.
I know, and like oh yeah, that's another thing. When we do our top 10 favorite moments, this is like in both of our top 5.
Yeah,
and so this is like one of the best scenes in the show, and they fucked it up.
Yeah. It's like, and I know you could say like you can't commit. Like they're trying to tell us we can't, compare the anime and stuff. It's its own thing. Like you took this scene from the anime and tried to fucked it up.
Did it worse.
So much worse. Like, oh, it's so stupid.
It's so
like, bad. So then again, all that stuff happens where like Chief Turner just confronts Al about it, and obviously at least
thing. It's weird that like Al had like the American flag in the background.
Yeah, that was weird.
So again, it's just like I was just like, this is a Japanese show.
Yeah.
Right. And like it seemed like an odd thing. They took Captain America and then have him have like a French flag in the background. It'd be a little weird,
Can I just let's just talk about this now too? They don't really even play up really at all to Light versus L at all in this movie. It's like because
they're both morons in this.
Not even that though, but it's more about like Light versus Maya than Light versus L. It's like, wait, you took the best thing out of the best thing that's made this show, that's made everyone love this show, and you made it, and you didn't do anything with it. Like,
right. Like this is like if in Breaking Bad, like you fucked up like Gus and Hank, you know, like
yeah,
they are like, you know, or I guess like maybe like Walt and Jesse, like those relationships like make the show.
yeah, or like you know, you fucked up Walt and Hank, or in like Walking Dead, you fucked up like Rick. Since you know about this part, Rick and Carl is like father-son like relationship that they
Right.
have.
Like those are like the center relationships of the show. Like it affects everything else. Everything else is affected by that relationship.
And here it's like it not even. It's like not even. It doesn't exist. Like
yeah. Oh,
and
when they meet face to face for the first time later on in the movie. Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That might be my least favorite scene in the movie, and that's saying something.
I'll let you talk about that. Yeah.
But yeah. Also, this doesn't prove anything because.
Yeah, you know,
as far as everyone in the public knows, Kira's just killing criminals.
Yeah.
So like, it doesn't even prove that he needs a name and a face because he might not just want to kill this guy who hasn't killed anyone.
Yeah.
Later on, like you know, Chief Turner. I keep wanting to say Yagami. You want to say Timmy Turner? I want to say Chief Yagami.
I know.
Fucking James Turner gets on later, and then like this is L's proof that Light Turner is Kira. But like, why? Because it doesn't prove anything. You went on the news and you were fine. He went on the news and he was fine.
Well, so it didn't really make sense. So did it prove that he's not like Kira? Would Light not want to kill his dad? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Light L. Okay, yeah. So Kira not killing his dad was proof that like Kira is Light because he wouldn't want to kill his dad.
That's true. Yeah.
But I'm saying it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, because he could have just been like a bit. Because he didn't kill anybody. He didn't, you know.
Yeah, as far as they know, Kira's just killing criminals. Like they're not, you know.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and then the next scene. So we talked about the scene where afterwards, Light and like his dad have a conversation about what happened on the news and stuff. Where Light's obviously making it well known that he's Kira. He might as well just hold up a sign to his dad and said, "Hey, I'm Kira, by the way."
Right. I think his dad even has like a line where he's like, you know, I'm sure you could tell if you're sitting across a lazy person like Kira.
That was so bad, yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's awful.
Because it's so stupid too. He doesn't have like another conversation with him. He just fucking leaves after that conversation's over. Like, isn't that a fucking like red flag right there that he just leaves?
This guy's so, oh my god, this guy's not hiding it at all.
I mean, they just have me even worse. So you see like Light walking around town, and you hear Lee laughing. And when Light cuts away, you notice that he's being followed by an FBI agent. I didn't like this scene at all. Let me tell you why. Because then it cuts to the next scene where Chief Turner just tells L, "You have someone tracking my son." You can't even tell that this guy's even following Light. It's just such a quick thing. You can't like it.
Yeah, it's I don't know how Light figured out that this guy's following him.
Well, I think because Ryuk laughed, and then they didn't like do anything. But like like if you didn't watch the show, you wouldn't even know it because it just looks like this guy's just walking around like just a normal dude. Like how could you even like you couldn't even tell this guy was following him?
Yeah, and this is supposed to be Ray Pember. They don't do like shit with him.
Yeah, nothing at all. So
like no bus hijacking, no train scene. Oh yeah, the Ray Pember stuff. It was some of my favorite scenes in the Death Note.
Yeah, nothing. No, Naomi, none of that. None of that.
And admittedly, the Japanese like fucked up Naomi too.
Yeah, they did.
But like, still, you know, it would have been nice to see her.
Yeah. Oh, because you have to make time for that Ferris wheel scene. You got to make time for that.
Of course. And you know, again, you brought it up. It's weird that Mia gets so much more focus than L in this. Like, who watches the original show when it's like, okay, yeah, L and Light, they're cool and all, but like Misa, come on.
I remember too, like, had Nier not shown up when he did, we would have probably been like wagging on. Like Misa would have been the person. No one liked Misa before Nier showed up.
Like Nier, like directed all of her hate away from Misa.
Yeah, like honestly, that's how bad Misa was. I actually remember somehow it was like right before they called Higuchi. Oh no, Higuchi either. No, why the fuck would you want to have him in it?
Oh yeah, that.
No cool scenes where people are getting amnesia. None of that. Why would you want to have that? You know, what made the show work? Again, it's an adaptation, but they don't have
Like,
all
I
the.
get you can't fit everything, like it's a movie, but the Japanese movies did it pretty good.
Yeah, they got all the like the only thing they didn't get in there was like I forget what it was, but they. Oh, I mean, obviously they screwed up kind of Higuchi here a little bit because with somebody else, but
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah. Again,
but
okay, they weren't perfect. They definitely had some misses, but point
yeah,
is they were generally fine.
yeah, but no, but like what I was gonna say is like like why who watches Death Note and says, you know what, we didn't really get like this face off between Light and Mia. That's money right there. That's gonna make us some money. That's gonna get
Uh,
those Netflix
and again, it
subscriptions
doesn't
up.
help that Light just gets walked over. Like, Light is Mia's bitch this entire movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Um, so
Oh yeah.
Chief
So
Toner goes
I
up.
don't know if I don't. Did we go over this? The scene in the computer lab with the website.
Oh no, I think that I'll talk about this for a second. Yeah. Um, I think I forgot about it because we were talking about all the shit with it because they ruined
Yeah.
Lindell Taylor's scene. Um, so,
I have to
um,
keep my jacket off because I'm getting too heated. This movie
yeah.
sucks too bad.
So, Light and Mia or Maya, I don't even know at this point. I don't even care. But the I don't even know. I think the Light and criminals' names. They're just handing out in the computer lab. Um, and Mia shows Light this website. Again, why they talk about this in school? Where they know there's cameras. There's cameras in the fucking school.
And you
But
can check the browsing history and all that.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Great job. In the 2017 time frame. Why
For
didn't?
real. Like, oh my god. So
But
dumb.
um, yeah. So Maya
Oh,
shows.
and they're just talking about this. I'm pretty sure, like, you could see, like, someone sitting next to them, like, at the edge of the camera.
Yeah,
That guy can totally hear them.
yeah. So um, I think there's like a bit where so Mia shows Light this website of like all these people who have all these criminals that they want to get put away. They put the picture and like their name on there. So like criminals. And Light says, "Okay, this is cool, but like what if someone just put someone on there because they slept with their girlfriend or that type of thing? Like we could be going completely down the wrong path." This is kind of the first time you see Light kind of fight back a little bit.
Yeah, and
And
like, it shows, like, he has some morality.
And Mia's response to this, well, what would you do if somebody was sleeping with me? And like, oh, I want to kill them. And then Mia's like, yeah, so this isn't a problem. Like, he just actually proved his point. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? And they never go.
God.
They never go back to this. We never find out
Yeah,
about this
okay, so
website.
every Mia scene just shows she's like an unhinged psycho who just wants to kill anyone.
Yeah, but they never go back to this website. They never,
Actually, they do at the very end of the movie.
you have to tell me about it, unless I fast forwarded through it. But
Yeah, like at the very end, like Light's explaining like what happened with the Ferris wheel.
oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do go back to it. Yeah, but yeah, they never go back. But again, like.
And I guess it's also like world building. It's showing like a lot of people like approve of Kira, I guess.
But yeah, again, like Light was in the right here, and it's just a quick scene that happens. It's not like talked about anymore.
Right, like okay,
that.
Light, she's throwing out so many red flags.
Yes.
Like she's trigger happy. She wants to murder anyone and everyone, and he's 100% fine with that. And it's so stupid.
So then, Chief Toto, well, first Light and Mia, when they find out they're being watched by like the FBI agents, go up on the Ferris wheel so they can have like a private conversation.
And Mia just wants to like murder them.
And
Light's like, no, we're not killing FBI agents.
And again, this is very unlike Light because when like he was being targeted, like he did murder them, like when he was being targeted
right. And again,
stuff.
it shows like how Light is becoming more and more fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
And
Light's like a person after doing all this shit.
I mean, look, I'm just gonna read you what Wikipedia, the description, because it says it all about about what Mia's character is. It says Light's classmate girlfriend, who assisted him in worldwide massacre. I'm gonna really say assistant, more like taking over of criminals as the godlike.
If anything, Light's the assistant.
Yeah. But it says here, In an interview, Adam Wingard noted that rather than being a direct adaptation of the manga character Misa Anamai, Soten is partially based on the sociopathic qualities of Light Yagami. It's like they separated the
Oh, so they literally admitted that that Mia is more like Light than Light in this movie.
Yeah, which is just
What
terrible.
the fuck? That's so. I didn't know that. That's so stupid.
Yeah. So basically, this is Light's. They separated Light's personality pretty much.
But like worse, because she's not like she's not like intelligent. She's not interesting. She's just a fucking psycho.
But so
and also like Light is like, hey, we should like lay low for a while. Like he wants to stop using the Death Note. Light in the anime would never. He would not be like, oh, let's just stop using it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a consistent thing throughout this movie. Like Light's trying to justify using the Death Note by saying like Ryuk will just give it to someone worse.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like that. Like what makes Light interesting is like it's his own ambition. It's what he wants. He wants to be a god. He wants to rule shit. He wants to kill people.
Yeah.
And in this movie, he's just like, I mean, it's I get a girlfriend because of it, and like, Ryuk won't. I don't know. It's just fucking stupid. I hate this Light.
So is the next scene when the Chief Turner goes on TV and like basically challenges Kira to kill him and all that type of stuff?
That happens after the FBI agents die.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So let's talk about the FBI agents dying. So,
so after the Ferris wheel scene, Light actually grew a bit of a backbone because Mia was like, I can't believe you want to spare them. And Light's like, well, hey, I guess it's a good thing it's my notebook. So like he kind of stood up to her a bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Next scene, they're like in his house watching a movie.
Yeah.
Mia like just quickly runs upstairs. And this was a weird cut, so she runs upstairs and then she's like back in the living room.
Yeah, it's real weird.
It's like a super quick cut. It's like weird. And Light is it's like, oh hey, we should like make some popcorn, kill a couple people. Like instead of Netflix and chill, he wants to death and chill. And it's again, it's just, like because again in the show he wasn't really interested in like Takada or Misa or any other girl he dated. They were more like means to an end.
For sure.
And I don't mind Light like caring about people, but like it's too much. Like he doesn't seem to give a shit about like making a new world order or like being a god. He's just like, I'll just kill some people, and like hang out with my girlfriend.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
And by the way, when Mia runs up, it's like super obvious she's taking the Death Note.
Yeah, I knew that was.
She leaves in a hurry. It's like, yeah, I gotta go. Sorry.
And like she puts the book in there, which is like later on they try to make like this masterful reveal. Like we shouldn't have seen it coming. It's like, no, we saw this coming. Like
super obvious. And also, how does Light not see it coming?
Yeah.
Like again, they just so Light in the show has like 200 IQ. He has like negative 200 IQ. He's a fucking moron.
Yeah, like
he doesn't forget how to breathe.
The Light in the anime would like be like, what's in the backpack? Like he would have like taken the backpack and like taken the Death Note out. Well, once he would have even been able to get the Death Note to begin with, like his room would have burnt down.
Oh yeah, because Light in the show was actually super careful about the weapon of mass destruction that he has.
Yeah.
And this just leaves it on his desk. He reads it in gym class in front of everyone.
Yeah.
He's not careful with it at all.
Yeah. So, why don't you talk about what happens with the FBI agents and with Chief Turner?
So we see a scene where they're all walking through a building, clearly mind controlled, and then they just publicly jump off and splat on the ground.
Mm.
Why would you do this publicly?
Yeah, why not do like when Light had Naomi die? It was like quietly, like
right. He just had her go. Oh yeah, that's a good point. He had her go kill herself, and everyone just assumed like, oh, she's sad because her fiance died.
Yeah.
But L, because he knew her personally because they worked on a case together, he's like, no, she wouldn't. She's not the kind of person to do that. Like Kira must have forced her. So, and that's how they found out that Kira can like kill more in more ways than just heart attacks.
Yeah.
So, like, that was a pretty big deal in the show.
Yeah. I mean, there's no heart attacks happening at all. I think here it's just.
Yeah. So it's so stupid. Again, it's like taking the show did, being like, yeah, that's pretty good, but we can do it better, and then just failing miserably.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the FBI agents
Although
die.
this isn't Light's fault because it's Mia. Spoilers, I guess. Like who the fuck cares? Stupid reveal.
Yeah.
He is the one who took the Death Note and or he ripped the page out and then wrote their names.
Yeah. So, yeah, Light.
Oh, I'm sorry. Remember, there was this big thing. Like we get the reveal later, but we'll just talk about it now because we're talking about the FBI agents.
Sure.
Remember in the show, Light had this. He staged the bus jacking to get Ray Pember's name.
Yep.
And keep in mind, Ray didn't know every FBI agent's name in Japan.
Yeah.
He had him write his boss's name on like the Death Note, and then that sent the emails to Ray Pember for the rest of the agents. Right?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't for an operation like that, you wouldn't want them all knowing each other.
Yeah.
So in this movie, instead of making this cool, complicated plan that's like smart and intelligent, Mia just runs up to Ray, whatever the fuck his name is. His name's not even Ray Pember in this.
Yeah.
She walks up to him and tasers him.
Yep.
And then he just has his ID on him. And then she has him write all the agents' names.
So stupid.
It's just like, remember that was like a whole 4 episodes of the show.
Yeah, it was.
And it's done in like 20 seconds in this.
It's like a throwaway thing that happens in the movie.
And taser, how did she sneak up on a fucking FBI agent with a taser?
Yeah. What'd you get the taser? That's a good question.
Why does he know all the agents' names?
Yeah. But yeah, so this is when they find out about it. So then Chief Turner, this is when he goes on TV and announces that, basically challenges Kira to kill him. And obviously Misa tries to talk Light into it, but Light doesn't want it because that's his dad.
She doesn't even try talking about it. She literally goes over to the Death Note, like, where is it? And starts about to write his name.
Yeah. And she's like, no, it's my dad.
We're not killing my dad. And she's like, but he just dared us to on TV. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I guess
the fact that Light did not immediately kick her out and it's oh my god, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
He forgives her after this. She's just like, I love you, and he forgives her immediately.
Like she was gonna kill his dad. She was gonna kill your dad, dude.
Yeah, she was going to murder your father over nothing, basically.
Yeah. So,
neither Misa or Light were like this in the show, by the way.
No.
They didn't just kill anyone for no reason. They had reasons. Like the FBI agents and Naomi, they were good people and they shouldn't have killed them, but they were in their way. Yeah. They were a danger, so they did it.
Misa, even though Misa killed caused that whole TV scene to happen because she wanted to meet Kira.
Right. So it's they all had reasons for doing that. Here, she's just fuck a mess.
Yeah. If anything, actually, Misa doing that thing in the anime helped, because he was able to get on the task force because of it. So
yeah, exactly. So it's so fucking stupid.
So then,
oh wait.
Then is it the scene with? Because I was gonna let you talk. Is it the scene with Light now? Because this is the thing that I think you wanted to rag on. You wanted to destroy this scene.
Before that, there's another almost as bad scene. So it's when Light finds out about the FBI agents.
Oh, with Ryuk.
Before that, he's in school with Mia, running up the stairs around people, and he says, "The son of a bitch killed them all. There's so many rules in that thing."
Yep.
He literally screams that.
Yeah.
With people around, that he killed them all. And they're talking about the Death Note and opium.
This is worse than when Takano in that Death Note movie was freaking out when her camera was bugged and all that type of stuff. It was worse than that.
And she should have known she was being watched, but she was still freaking out. Oh my god!
What happened to Light, man? What happened?
And then oh yeah, because so Light thinks Ryuk killed the FBI agents.
Yeah.
Because Ryuk was like goading him to do it, like with Mia.
Yeah.
And then Mia is like, maybe you should stop and see that this is a good thing. And again, it should be super obvious what the fuck is happening here, but Light's too stupid to see it.
Yeah, I saw it coming a mile away.
And then Light goes back home and he starts screaming at Ryuk. Because and then Ryuk like is protecting Mia for some reason, like he's not explaining what happened.
Yeah, he's not explaining what happened.
And I guess in this movie, Ryuk's just more like demonic instead of like neutral.
He's like against Light too. Like he seems
to be against Light. Oh, and also he says like he tries to convince Light to give up the Death Note for some reason.
Yeah,
and he says, "Hey, I told you earlier you should give it up." He never said that.
Yeah, he never did.
So
he just said it. He just said he could give it up if he wanted to.
Right.
He didn't say.
He never tried to convince you before that. And then Light's like, "Don't fuck with me again, or I'll write your name." First of all, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And Ryuk says he doesn't say you can't kill a Shinigami, dumbass. He says the most people have tried, but they have only gotten the 2 letters in my name. First of all, again, that wouldn't work on you because you're not a fucking human. You're not alive.
Yeah.
Second of all, someone did write your name in the Death Note. Remember that warning? Don't trust Ryuk.
Yeah, yeah.
They wrote your name in there.
So like, my god.
And so this scene is just like 4 times stupid. Like everything is wrong with it.
Everything. Oh, that is at the Light and L scene because I was gonna let you talk. I was gonna let you tear that apart. Like
okay, yeah. So and then after that, the Chief Yagami scene. Then we get L's like, yep, Light Turner's Kira because he wouldn't kill his dad.
I know we're going out of. I know we're jumping all around it, but this movie's so bad you can't like stay in order.
It's awful. So yeah, L knows Light is Kira for some reason, even though he went on TV and he was fine. Yeah. So this doesn't prove anything. I guess because the FBI agents died. I guess
because he didn't kill his dad. Sure, but it's
that's not really solid proof. This doesn't like confirm that Light's Kira.
Yeah.
And in the show before this, L had been like observing Light on like the security cameras and stuff before that.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty good who Light was as a person.
No security cameras this time. He just has the FBI agents word of mouth type of thing.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, he knows nothing about Light personally.
Yeah.
So Light, in his infinite wisdom, is at like a coffee shop, and he's reading a book about like ancient Japan or whatever, and he sees like a picture of Ryuk, showing that Ryuk's been around for like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Why are you reading a book about Shinigami? There's literally a fucking open sign right next to him. He's literally reading it out in the open.
Yep.
I guess I should say this. There's a lot of like neon lights in this movie. I kind of like that. Like that cool. Was that like dystopian thing that like the second half of Death Note was doing?
Yeah, that's cool.
So you got to give this movie its positives where you can, because Lord knows there's not a fucking lot of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's many more coming after this.
Yeah. And, remember in the show when L revealed his face to Light, it was at the college ceremony.
Yeah.
He, was his friend. He acted friendly to him. He didn't say he was a suspect. He just said, I would like to work with you on the task force. Oh, he used a fake name, so Light, he used the name of like a pop star. So if Light tried killing him, he might accidentally kill the pop star.
And it's like this epic scene too. Like Light has to pretend like to be all calm about it on the ride.
Yeah, in his head he's like freaking the fuck out, but he has to keep a plain face.
Yeah, and then he goes home and
Light Turner is being a little bitch, but he doesn't even deny being Kira. By the way, in the scene.
No, he doesn't.
He basically admits to being Kira.
They ruined all the good shit. They ruined all the good scenes.
So the point is, in this scene, it is a good scene. It is smart for both L and Light. And actually, I love that. Also love that scene because Light has to be calm the whole ride home.
Yeah.
And he has to wait till he gets to his room to start like freaking out, being like, "Fuck."
That's awesome.
In this scene, L walks up to Light, and he's like, "Hey, I'm L," and Light's like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're the guy on TV." And Light's like, yeah, so I know you're Kira. Like,
Oh my god. He just calls him right out on it. Doesn't give any evidence.
Like,
doesn't have like
no nothing. He's just like, I know you're Kira.
They don't have like a conversation, like break the ice or anything like that. Like,
yeah, literally just walks up to him. And by the way, they're like talking about this again in a coffee shop with like a bunch of people in there.
Well, they did that in the anime too, actually.
Well, no, but they were like talking like quietly.
Yeah, that's true.
And like like they were like at a college ceremony, so everyone was like paying attention to what was going on stage.
Yeah, that's true.
They start screaming, and Elle knocks all the shit over the.
Yeah.
So like everyone's watching them, and they're like, "I'm Elle, the detective, and you're Kira, the mass murderer."
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
They go through like
about to leave, and I was like, okay, that when I first watched this, I'm like, okay, at least he's like leaving, he's denying it, he's not like engaging with this. And then he sees Ryuk in the window, and then I don't get the point of that.
Yeah.
I was like, is Ryuk threatening him to stay? Because why would Ryuk do that?
Yeah.
And if not, if he just saw Ryuk and then he just tries to like explain like why he's doing this to Elle, you're a moron. So either Ryuk's stupid or Light's stupid. Take your pick. So Light stays and he's like, he starts talking about like the lesser of two evils, and he's like, hey, how do you think Kira does it? He's like, maybe you should try to understand that, like, maybe we should like work, like maybe you should understand that Kira wants the killings to stop.
Mm.
So I guess this is implying he wants to stop.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, Elle's just like saying like, you're trying to justify this, but like you're just a criminal and you're evil for doing this. Light starts screaming at him. Like again, he's not denying this. He's literally just admitted to Elle, like, yeah, I'm basically Kira. Like he said it without saying. Elle, in response to this, takes off his mask.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
He now knows your face. He just needs your name.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he's been wearing like a mask and everything like that, like before this. Yeah. So.
And after this, he stops wearing the mask.
Yeah. This is just so stupid.
And then Elle starts screaming at Light, and again, Elle will not do this.
No, he wouldn't.
And then Elle's like basically says like there are no draws in this game, and then Elle's like, and then Light's like, if that's how it has to be, like he's admitted that he's Kira.
Yeah.
And
like it's just full on.
Oh, and Elle in the scene is like, you're trying to make a deal with me, but like, you only do that if you're in a position of strength. And then later, Elle starts like when Watari goes missing, Elle starts bitching and crying to Light, like, okay, you're in a position of strength. Let's make a deal. Elle would never, ever, ever make a deal with Kira.
No, he wouldn't.
The scene assassinates both of them. They're both morons. Comparing this to the show, it's stupid. For the movie, it's stupid. It's stupid in general. Fuck this movie. Fuck the directors. Fuck Netflix. Fuck everything.
This scene just like destroyed both characters and ruined the rest of the movie. And yeah,
the scene at the end is like stupid, but like I laughed at it. Like it's funny. Yeah. This scene isn't funny. It's just fucking stupid, and I don't like it.
It's like it's a disgrace to the whole franchise, pretty much.
It's like, disgrace to storytelling. It's disgrace to the world, to human race.
And it leads to what happens to Watari later on. Like what Elle inadvertently killed Watari. Like
yeah, basically, if Elle just like did not go near Light, like this wouldn't have. Moving on.
So next, Light goes back home, and
Misa's waiting out for him in the rain.
Misa and him get back together for like the 4th time in this movie.
And he's like, "You tried to kill my dad," and she's like, "I was scared." And then she says, "Like, I'm a cheerleader. Nothing I've done is ever mad." Okay, that's balloons, I guess.
For 400.
Woohoo!
2 hours into the video.
Yeah. We've been talking about this movie longer than the fucking movie.
I know. It's so bad.
Oh, it's so bad. We're not even almost done yet. She's like, "I'm a cheerleader. Like, nothing I've done has ever mattered." And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
I know.
So basically, she just likes killing people. Like that's it. That's her motivation. She's just like, I like murdering people. That's it.
I don't even understand.
And then she says, "I love you," and then Light kisses her, and they make up, and then they're fine now.
For like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe a few.
And it's like, oh my, Light is such a bitch in this movie.
I know. So they go into the house. They find what? How do they even find Watery? They find
Watery's name on like the news or something.
It's like some bullshit. And then they write in the notebook that he's going to basically not have any contact with anyone outside on the outside world. And I think for what, like 12 days? They've like a time frame that
in this movie you can only control someone for 2 days.
Oh, that's right, for 2 days. And his mission is
where they reveal that like you can burn a page with the death note.
We already talked about.
Oh wait, you should have brought that up sooner. Again, you shouldn't have waited till the last fucking second to like bring it up.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Watari only has one name. It's stupid. How does Watari know Light's number? He can just, I guess, teleport people's information into their brains.
Yeah, this is just so stupid. And then, Light calls. So yeah, he writes his name in there, and he said he's going to burn the page after Watery's given him the information that he needed. Which again, actually, that doesn't help Light either, because if L dies and Watery stays alive, he could just tell him that it was because he was being controlled by Kira. He could just give him the phone number that he's been using, so it doesn't help Light at all.
But L just like was looking for Watari. He's like, "Hey, I'll check his phone number calls."
Yeah.
And then he'll see like, "Oh, he called Light." Okay, yeah, sure. That's pretty good proof.
No, but that happens. And especially too, it's like, I just don't get. I understand, I guess, this thing, but like it was really weird. Like, I don't even think Al really even realizes Watery's gone until for like a while too. It's not for a while.
Yeah, like a day.
Which is like it's not how it worked in the Death Note. Like if Watery was gone, like El would know in like an instant.
Yeah, for real.
By the way, too, in the Death Note, this would not have happened. Like I remember, like El would have like pulled some cool like checkmate type of thing where he'd make sure this couldn't happen. But nope, not in this movie.
In the movie, he has Watari like wear a disguise and also go by Watari, which is his real name.
Yep.
This movie's just stupid. He has him walking around with his real face and his real name.
Yeah, so pretty much Watery calls Light. Again, he should have died of a heart attack. Should have died of a heart attack because
he didn't know Al's real name. By the way, so Mia is after this is just like, you shouldn't burn the page because it's leaving a loose end. And Light just wants to be like the good guy and like not kill Watari.
Yeah.
I hate both of these. One, because Mia's like too far, like too edgy. She just wants to kill people. She's like, no matter the reason.
Yeah.
And Light, they keep trying to make him sympathetic, and it's like, first of all, he's not. He's a horrible person in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's a mass murderer. You don't need to make him like sympathetic and likable.
Well, especially too, like we said, you can't leave a Watery alive is just terrible, anyways. Because again, it leaves a loose, like it leaves a loose end. So
yeah, and it's like. It was interesting, Death Note, seeing how evil Light would get. Like, he would kill the FBI agents. He killed Naomi. He killed Takada. Like, he killed people who, like, didn't deserve it.
I mean, you don't get that at all in this movie with any of the characters. You don't get that with Mia because she's kind of already that way anyways.
Yeah, she's already, like, an evil bitch from day one, and Light's another kind of bitch.
Yeah.
He's a baby bitch.
So... pretty much, Watery's being controlled. He calls Light and, like, again, says he doesn't know his real name. I think he says, like, wasn't there, like, a reason, like, because, like, L came over, like, with a bunch of, like, people and they, like, never found their real names? It was, like, some bullshit like that. I don't even remember what it was.
So, I guess in this movie, so Watari... Okay, remember Watari owned the orphanage that, like, L, like, came to, and that's how they met?
Yep.
In this movie, L was already at the orphanage, and then like Watari took care of him after the orphanage.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. They only did it because they needed a Watari to not know L's real name.
Yeah. Again,
in the show, the orphanage was like raising like super geniuses, like Near and Mello,
Yeah.
But that was only because of L. Like Otari was like, "Oh damn, L's great. We should like start like training the other kids to like be like L."
Yeah.
In this movie, they're just like they're already doing that, and like L's like the Bible, so it just makes L less special, basically.
I know, especially too because like, yeah, the Japanese movies got this right too because that's what leads to the little boy who becomes Neo getting put into that orphanage at the end of L Change the World and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So, and it's again, I really like the L and Watari like father son relationship. This
yeah,
like weakens that, because like Watari was like is the only father he's ever known.
it's
Like,
like it's like everything that this movie wants to to fuck up. They just want to go out of the way to fuck it up
it's
because
like it's like again with like the race changes, it's like aggressive. Like it is going so far out of its way to be different and like
yeah,
bad. Like I like whenever I see this, I'm like, this has to be on purpose.
yeah.
Like there's no way someone like watched Death Note and then made this and it's like perfect.
And they've watched it because they're putting scenes in there that's in the anime. Like,
So it's like it's again, it's just like aggressively. It's like the last Airbender. Like that movie is so aggressively bad. Like it
yeah,
has to be on purpose.
yeah. But yeah, Watery says he has to like go to this orphanage to find Elle's real name, and he has to drive like a good portion out of his way to find it too.
Yeah.
Because he even says like they made it so that way they couldn't find it and all that type of stuff. Again, should have had a heart attack.
When Ryuk says like, "Hey, how should he die?" and Light says like, "Doesn't matter. It's the healer's choice."
Yeah,
So yeah, that like proves they removed heart attacks from this.
yeah,
So like people don't die from heart attacks in the Death Note. It's just like however Ryuk wants to kill him.
yeah. That's stupid.
Yeah. It's like the heart attacks were like the main thing about Death Note. It's like just weird to remove it.
And then I think for like a while that, huh?
So I said the heart attacks were one of the main thing, not the main thing, but like
Yeah.
we're a big staple of it. Anyway, go on.
So there's a montage for a while of like L trying to find Watui. He goes to like his hotel and all that type of stuff. Again, I don't think L would have gone this long without realizing Watui was gone and all that type of stuff. He would not have let it escalate to this point in the anime. And how does L respond to this? He doesn't have like a private conversation. He just goes right up to like L's. He goes right up to the Tono's house.
Literally, as they're having breakfast, he breaks in and goes right up to their dinner table.
Yeah. And basically calls Light out on it. And he basically offers to make a deal. Light tries to pretend that he isn't Kira.
Yeah, I was like basically begging Kira.
Yeah. This was not happen. And eventually it leads to Chief Tono attacking L, which this would not happen in the anime. And
like I don't know. Like, again, that was another thing I liked, like the respect Chief Yagami had for L.
Yeah, they ruined that too. Basically, so how about this?
And L is acting super fucking weirdness. Okay, in the movies, when Watari dies, L's like sad, but like he's still L. Like he's like
yeah.
I wish Watari didn't have to die for this. And like he's very sad about it, but like he's not like acting out of character. In this movie, L's like screaming, he's fucking like shouting, he's begging, and later on he steals a fucking cop car and it's like driving around crashing into shit.
Yeah. So yeah, they get into Chief Tono and L get into a fight. Eventually it gets broken up. Well, I think he just lets him go, and then they have him tear Light's place apart to find like how I guess any information.
Like I don't know what he was expecting.
Yeah. I don't know. All he had to do was go through his fucking cell phone. That's all he had to do. But this is when that Light and his dad have.
Lucky that Mia was having dinner with them that night, huh? And she took the Death Note.
Yeah.
If it was just him and his dad, he'd be fucked.
I know. But Light and Chief Tono, have like a conversation talking about Light and Wan and how there can be like a middle ground and all that type of stuff, which I guess was like a decent conversation for the movie, but like we said like thousands of times, not for the Death Note franchise.
Oh yeah, for the characters, like in the show, like Chief Yagami was like staunchly like for the law. Yeah. Remember when they were like trying to trap Higuchi? Like one of the characters wanted to give him a gun, and he was like, "No, I'm not a police officer anymore," and like only they can carry guns. Like even in a life and death situation, he was like strictly about the law.
Yep.
That's
So
how he died. He didn't want to kill Mello.
yeah, that's true. And then yeah, there's this big thing where we find out there's like some type of school dance that they never mentioned at all before
They
in the
didn't mention
movie.
up to this point yet, and then like just like, oh yeah, homecoming's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
And
in this, Ryuk like taunts Light. He's like, "Oh man, if they find that notebook, I'm gonna find it in a new home, and guess whose name I'll suggest we write first."
yeah,
He's like taunting to kill Light, and it's like, Ryuk, what the fuck do you want?
I
You
know.
choose Light, then you cover for Misa when she starts killing people without Light's permission,
Yeah.
and now you're taunting like to kill Light. Like, what the fuck do you want?
He doesn't. It's not very clear. And
I still don't get why he chose Light in the first place.
yeah, especially
Again, it's the show. He didn't choose Light. Light found it randomly.
yeah.
And this
So,
he dropped it at his feet.
So Light, they talk about homecoming, and Mia gives Light like a uniform that he's gonna wear, like obviously like a nice coat and like hat. And in the hat, she has "I have the Death Note." Well, I don't know why she just say it out in the open. They talk about it in the open anyways.
I know you do that shit constantly. Who the fuck cares anymore?
So they go to like the homecoming dance, and
Which literally why? Like, who the fuck cares about Light's high school dance?
I know it's not even like a prom or anything. It's a homecoming dance. Like,
by the way, Light's okay. Misa says like, I have a plan to like like get us in the clear, but you have to trust me. Light's like, okay, yeah, sure, I trust you. Light doesn't ask about the plan. He doesn't ask any questions. He's like, yeah, sure, Misa, you take care of it.
yeah. Oh,
It's bite me in the ass. Oh, look, it bit me in the ass.
Yeah. So at the homecoming dance, Mia dances with another guy that like looks similar to Light.
Right, like he like is wearing a top hat and he like puts it on this guy, so like the FBI agents think that's Light.
And Light goes to get the information from Watery, and Watery's also running out of time.
He also like grabs the Death Note from like Misa's locker.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm glad you were keeping the Death Note in your fucking school locker.
Yeah, why would you do that? Yeah, he calls Watery, and also Watery's time is running out because like FBI agents and stuff are like looking for him and stuff like that.
And this is like a big we've seen like Watari's like going through the abandoned orphanage.
Yeah, I don't understand why this was in the. This does not fit the theme of Death Note.
You don't know why this is like a bootleg horror movie.
Yeah, so they find it. Like about to find it, and Light also sees that the page is missing where he wrote Watery's name, and so he can't burn it. So Light has to, so he has to get it quickly. Again, I think they added that rule in there for this reason, so that way we'd have that like drama that like, oh my gosh, now he has to get this name before Watery dies, and of course he doesn't get the name because the FBI agents break in and like kill.
Yeah, so I always thought this was weird. So like, L sent these guys to like go like find Watari.
Yeah.
And then they just like shoot him because of the Death Note. So like, one of them calls them later and like says like Watari died. So like, what do they say? Hey, sorry, me and the guys like killed him. Like, how did Watari die? We just kind of like shot him a bunch for some reason.
I mean, we something happened to us. Like we were under control to like shoot him. Like I don't know what happened. Like we just like.
How the fuck do you explain that?
So like it's so stupid. Like, well, we're not even at like the stupidest part of the thing. So Light realizes that the page is missing, and he realizes Mia's a part of it. And big surprise, Mia killed the FBI agents. We found out all the time. They tried to like
fucking whoop. Who didn't see that coming?
I felt like I hated the movie too because they tried to like reveal it as if it was like a masterful thing. Like they
like slow mo and we like zoom in on her face and we get like a flashback and it's like super obvious.
It's like the directors and actors, like the directors and writers and stuff were like so proud of themselves that they thought they pulled.
Like patting themselves on the back, clapping like we won this Oscar, boys. Like
not even that.
No,
not even that. Was like we swerved you guys. You guys didn't see this coming. What a twist! Like we totally like they were like so proud of themselves. Like
they were like the anime's got nothing on us guys.
This is so stupid. And then yeah. I can't even talk right now. So what do we see that's been written in the Death Note?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so like you're never using the Death Note again.
yeah. And then
And Mia's reveals like, hey, you didn't see it,
yeah,
so she wrote Light's name in the notebook,
yeah.
and
And
he'll
Light
die at midnight, and she's like, okay, I'll burn your page.
basically by the way, they found a way to, we would have gotten off those heart attack. They say Light's heart starts beating at midnight. Can't just fight heart attack. Can't just fight heart attack.
Would have had a heart attack, but nope.
Yeah. I guess what if the word heart attack was like banned from this movie? Like you couldn't say heart attack. Like it was like banned.
Oh yeah, you can have people's heads explode, stabbed to death, shot to death, but God forbid their heart stops.
Yeah. So yeah, Light's heart's gonna stop beating at midnight, and after he hands over the Death Note. So
and then she said she'll burn his page, so he'll live.
That's a question that you have to ask. Why didn't Light just go burn the page himself? Like
I'm glad you brought that up. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, maybe she like wrote it on the page of the Death Note she stole earlier for the FBI.
No.
Nope, she literally just like wrote it in the Death Note that Light has.
Yeah. So why didn't he just go burn the page himself? Like,
and I was about to say, he should have just burned that and then killed Misa. He basically did that just with extra steps.
I know.
So
I get.
Oh, and by the way, like I hate. Like, again, I think this movie was written by an edgy 13-year-old.
Mm.
This is like Mia, whatever the fuck her name is. She's like, you never wanted to like do enough, and you don't get to be superior by being a pussy. I'm like, who the fuck wrote this?
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It's so edgy.
It destroyed Light's character. I'm like, wait, this is the guy I've been watching for like years, and
he's just made a bitch.
So yeah,
So Light runs over to the Death Note, sees that his name is written down. Yeah. Again, just go burn it and then have Misa go like do a backflip over a building, something.
Yeah. Have Misa go into like a empty room and like get like knives and all that stuff. Like
you're gonna go. Like I talked about earlier, he was like, just have Misa like drown herself in the punch bowl.
Yeah, that was funny.
And as this is happening, so L realizes that Watari died because again, I guess the guy who shot him let him know. That was nice.
He's not mad at the guys for that. He's just like whatever. Like
yeah. So Al grabs his gun. By the way, earlier in this movie, he says like, "I don't carry a gun around; it's distracting." But he owns a gun, so okay.
Oh, can I? By the way, I will say like. Remember how I said in the last film they try to take Al and take away what made him special? Can I take that back? Because this,
it's funny. I was about to say like when we got to the chase scene, I was like, I remember you said that earlier about the last movie. How do you feel about this movie?
Yeah, like I said,
like in the last movie, it was stupid that Al jumped onto the moving plane. Like this is 10 times dumber.
What are you talking? So, Al steals a cop car and like he's
just driving around like a fucking maniac. Like he's just driving into shit.
Yeah, but Al would totally do this in the anime, man. Like, not a real question.
What was his plan here? Like, he just randomly saw Light running down the street.
Yeah.
So, like, what was his plan before that? He was just driving around randomly.
Yeah. Was he like it's not like he knew Light's homecoming dance was coming up. Like, how does he happen to find? I don't even know, but
and also Chief Detective Turner, like we get a scene of him being like, L's dangerous, get my son to protective custody. How does he know that L's like doing all this shit?
Yeah,
I guess he's still a cop car, but like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And this is made worse because Mia doesn't know that the reason Light's being chased by the cops is so he can be put in protective custody. And she just tells Light to like run, and obviously this makes Light even more guilty because he's running on the cops for no fucking reason.
And he texts me and he's like, "Meet me at the Ferris wheel."
Yeah,
and we see him like write something in the notebook real quick before that happens. Like he goes to the computer lab, pulls up the website from earlier, and like writes some stuff in the notebook. We don't see it until later.
then
epic chase scene where Light's running to the dock, and then L sees him. He gets out of the car and he starts chasing him.
This team was terrible.
And do you want to talk about the chase scene? Because it's like comedic.
Yeah, it's like he's running. He runs through like a kitchen. He runs through like the school dance. He runs through like he runs all over the freaking place, and like L like follows him. Like honestly, you could have put like a random like chase scene.
You could have put like Scooby-Doo music over this or something.
Yeah.
Or like like what's the one music like the wah 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 wah.
That's the movie's music I was thinking of. And he finally catches. I think Light stops at one point in the alley. At one point,
L like pushes a guy's face into like his pie.
Yeah, that was mean.
Poor guy. He didn't do anything wrong.
He made that pie for himself too, and now he.
But I love that, like when adapting this movie, like they watched Death Note and they're like, all right, what do we do? The one guy was like, all right, so L, right? Pushes the guy's face into like his soup. And the other guys are like, perfect. Yeah. That's just why we pay you the big bucks.
It was like, you know what? I don't even know why we watch the anime. Like, let's just have this. The anime's nothing. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, they stop at like they stop at like an abandoned alley.
Al like there's gun in the air, and
that's totally Al holding people hostage at gunpoint. That's great stuff.
Oh, listen, I didn't even think about that because the thing I was more pissed off about was Light like begging and squealing like a little bitch.
Oh, I was getting to that, but I feel like that should not be ignored. That like
what's up?
Al in the anime would not hold anybody at gunpoint. So.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that till you said it. Yeah, that's true. So actor did not do a good job for Light because I had to turn on subtitles for like when he talked here.
Mm.
It was like, you don't understand. I can't stop it. You couldn't stop it. Death can be handed through a fucking calculus book.
Yeah.
He said it like gibberish. He was like, stop it, the calculus book. I heard calculus book, and that was like the only word I understood. I was like, what did he say?
I didn't even know what he said until they show it later on in like the movie. Like I didn't even know what he said. Like
yeah. And again, Light literally is like begging, and he tells L like about the calculus book. Like he fucked himself over so badly.
Yeah.
L didn't ask him anything yet. He didn't say anything. He's just like, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything.
And then
when that guy knocks L out, Light's like, okay, look, I'll explain everything. Like Light would not do that. Light would not do that.
He didn't even do it in the like literally he was gonna like kill himself, but he was finally caught even in the anime. Like that's how much he was dedicated to it. So then some guy comes out.
And also by like him saying like I can stop it, you can't stop it. Again, I hate this because it makes everything like out of Light's control.
Yeah.
But like the thing I loved about Light was like he started all this shit. He's doing it because he wants to. It's his goals, his ambitions. Like everything is because of Light. In this movie, Light is like nothing.
Yeah, it's terrible. So then a guy comes out and I think somehow doesn't L tell him he's Kira? Like, this is Kira.
He's like, Kira. I'm L, and this is Kira. Like, don't interfere. And then he just knocks him out with like a 2x4.
Yeah, he's like a supporter of L. So then Light runs away.
It's like, wow, what the fuck is this random dude is a Kira worshiper.
Yeah. So then they go up to the Ferris wheel. No, I think I'm gonna let you talk about this because I think you've been waiting to talk about the Ferris wheel scene.
Light, before leaving L unconscious. By the way, this is the last time they see each other in the movie. Great into their dynamic.
Oh, but you know what? The L's death scene has nothing on this. This was top tier stuff.
True death scene. Imagine if he actually died there. He got knocked. You got hit in the head too hard, and he fucking died. God. So Light picked up his gun. Light ran to the pier. Threatened the Ferris wheel guy to let him up.
At this point, Light pretty much outed himself that he was killed at
yeah, like okay, so like when he's in the hospital later, the police should be like, oh hey, you just threatened to like murder the Ferris.
Movies like to do this, by the way. Like Samuel Jackson, he got his badge back.
Everyone was like fine with him holding all those people hostage. It's like okay, that's not how that works.
Yeah, I don't know what. Like, I guess apparently,
You were innocent of the first crime, but like you're guilty of the second one.
yeah, it seems like movies love that. Like, I guess you can hold people hostage whenever you want. I guess that's the. I guess that's sort of the lesson we should take anytime we watch a movie where that happens.
Yes, so no one gives a shit. They go up on the Ferris wheel. Light shoots like the control box, which stops it. I guess I don't know. And then they have this big dramatic. Oh yeah, by the way, the music. When Light is like running through the Ferris wheel is like this peaceful piano music. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is a movie. Honestly, I think you would have seen like the Twilight Zone type of thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the music during the chase scene was dumb too. It was like dun 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 dun.
It was like
not shit at all.
It was trying to be like epic. It was like a. See.
Yeah, it was. Oof. So yeah, they're up on the Ferris wheel, and Light's like, I have the death note, but like, look, don't take it. Trust me, like, you'll never see me again. We should just run away together. And then Mia's like, okay, yeah, I love you. And then, Light hears his dad down there. He like looks over, and Mia snags the death note from him. First, I don't know what she was planning from that. They're still like together in this small space, high up in the air.
Yeah.
You just stole it. Like, I don't know what you planned to do from there.
I know. It's not like Light couldn't get it back or anything like that. So
yeah. And then Light's like, no. And she's like, wait, why'd you scream no? Why'd you scream no? Why'd you scream no? She says it like 3 times.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you wrote my name, didn't you? And then Light's like, I hate the way he delivers it. He's like, but like, I was mad. And, I thought I could convince you not to take it. First of all, that's not how that works. You can't convince someone not to do something with the death note.
I know.
Like, you can't do a conditional. Like, you can't do, if this guy sleeps an hour late, he'll die. Like, you can't do that.
I know.
Like, it's either he'll die or he won't. Like, that's not how that works.
And it's not like he could burn the page because.
And also, yeah, like, what were you planning? So, like, you still need to burn the page with your name on it.
Yeah, because he had. Well, we didn't know that at the time, but so honestly, I know we talked about it, but if she didn't take the death note, Light's plan would have fucking screwed him over. Like his plan would have even gone in.
It shouldn't have it doesn't make sense anyway, because again, there's not conditionals. Like I know. He wrote that she would take the notebook, so she'll take the notebook. She has to.
This is so stupid. Yeah.
So Light thinks that he can prevent her from not doing it. I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So stupid.
So fucking dumb. And then remember earlier I said, hey, sharks can't attack people in the magic toilet. But a death god can rip apart a fucking Ferris wheel with psychic powers.
Oh my gosh.
So the Ferris wheel starts to like rip apart.
I don't even think that's the thing they changed. Shinigami don't even have any powers. They just Shinigami. They just hang out.
Yeah,
they chill.
They can't do anything, yeah. And everyone on the ground is like, what the fuck?
Like if Ryu could do if Ryu had psychic powers in the anime, there'd be no show. He'd be fucking
it's so dumb. And then my least favorite line in the whole movie is said by Light here when he's holding on to Misa. He says, Ryuk, wait, I take it back. I take it back. That is, in my opinion, it summarizes everything I hate about this movie.
Yeah.
Light is begging. Look at Light did this shit. Light. This is happening because of what Light wrote, and then he starts begging and whining to Ryuk like a little bitch, saying, "No, I didn't want this.
You wrote this."
Light has no agency. He has no goals. He's not impressive at all. He's not smart. He's a fucking moron. He's not Light. He's literally the opposite of Light. They should have called him fucking Dark. It's funny because remember I said in Irish Kira means dark.
Yep.
This isn't fucking Light Yagami. It's Dark Turner.
I know. They honestly should have just called him Dark Turner. That would have been much better.
So yeah, and then anyway, fucking a love song starts playing, and Light and Mia fall off the Ferris wheel in slow motion. A stupid love song begins to play.
This was by the way, remember how I said this movie had a $40 million budget? I bet you 10 $10 million or whatever went into all this budget right here. What a waste of money.
As they're falling, Mia rips Light's page out of the notebook and it lands on a nearby fire. We'll find out later that's because Light wrote it that way specifically. So again, this is the Death Note having way too much control in this movie. Light can make someone who's falling to their death rip out a piece of paper, and throw it in a fire that just happened to be nearby.
Like, what if it was raining that night?
Or just what if no one had a fire nearby?
Yeah, and no one falls and
what
like
if when someone's falling to their death, just happen to rip out that one piece of paper?
Or again, what if she dropped the notebook on the way down? Like,
that's so
nobody falls down, by the way, and rips out a piece of paper like from their like. How does that even happen?
And by the way, they were falling at the same angle, but Light fell into the river and Misa crashed into a bunch of flowers and died. How the fuck does that work?
I don't even know.
By the way, I hate that scene where she falls in the flowers. It's so like pretentious and stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this was a tragedy, you know. This couple was in love and they.
I don't even understand like how. Like, Light had a worse fall than she did, but somehow he lived. That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, but when you fall from that height into water, you're still fucking dead.
Yeah, there's no way you should be alive. Like,
So yeah, that scene. It's like I hate the coffee shop scene with Elle and Light equally, but like this is more funny, you know, because again the music is so like it's when I watched this, I was like, is this supposed to be like a comedy?
I don't know what I thought it was like a romantic.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie where I'm like, is this supposed to be like funny?
There was a lot of scenes that actually I was asking funny, and it's like, is this a romantic drama or something? What is this movie? Like,
yeah, it's like I don't know what this movie wants to be.
So then
you can talk about the by the way, Elle. We see a scene where he like a cop car approaches him because Detective Turner said like arrest Elle.
Yeah.
But then next time we see him, he shows up at the dock.
Yeah, it's weird.
So I guess the cops didn't arrest him for some reason.
Yeah.
And he sees like Light's page burn in the fire. But anyway, you can talk about the hospital stuff.
So yeah, he sees Light's page burn in the fire, which like confirmed to him that like he was Kira. And you think this is gonna be the end of the movie? Like you think Light died? You think there's no way like anything can happen? Because even though his page burned, like he still should be dead because
absolutely.
Yeah, but back at like the FBI agency like force, the building, Elle is telling the story about like what he thinks happened, and basically the head of the FBI guy like says like no one really is in favor of you because you basically went and like stole a cop car and just went manic pretty much. Mm-hmm. So he basically tells Elle to like leave Seattle, like go home pretty much. And Elle gets on the plane, and
I was about to like give up. He's like, man, fuck it.
Which would not happen in the anime.
And then he remembers what Light said to him about the calculus book. And again, good job, Light, you little fucking snot-nosed shit.
So then he goes
just snitched on yourself for no reason.
So he goes to the to Light's house while nobody's home. He just breaks in.
Mia's.
Oh, Mia's house. Sorry, Mia's house. And he sees in the calculus book that was it the empty page where the empty page with
the FBI agents on it. So I don't know. So this is weird. So like we as the audience know what the Death Note is. He just knows it's a piece of paper with like the dead people on it.
Yeah.
So he just like assumes like this paper is what killed the FBI agents.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why he assumed that.
Yeah. So then back at the hospital, because we also find out that like killings have started again from this point, and Elle thinks it's Light, but like obviously they think it's not possible because Light's in a coma. He's not dead somehow.
He's in a coma for the last 2 days, and Kira killings have still been happening.
And then we see somebody come in and put the Death Note.
Yeah, but I'm glad this guy put the Death Note on Light's bed in the middle of this hospital.
Yep. Gotta go see Light, by the way, too. This well-known criminal we find out later on. you know. But Light comes out of his coma and puts the death note under his pillow. And I'm gonna tell you what I honestly thought. I honestly thought because this movie was so dumb that like Light was faking his coma. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Why I was thinking this because this movie
pretended to be asleep for 2 days.
Yeah, but let's be honest. This movie was so bad. Let's be honest. They would have written that if they had a chance. But Chief Turner comes in, and remember how we always wanted that scene? We got it like in the original, like in the Japanese remake, where we like to see Chief Yagami / Chief Turner call out Light. It'd be like this epic scene. It's like a nothing scene. He's like, "Oh, it was you." Yeah, he doesn't show.
And but the evidence is so weak. He's like, "You had this news clipping of your mom's murderer," and it's like, okay, it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, like it was in his house. It was, you know.
Yeah, it's like of all the evidence, this is the one that's damning.
Yeah.
And Light doesn't even deny it. He immediately says, like, okay, Chief Yagami's like, not Yagami. James Turner's like, how'd you do it? And then Light's immediately like, you sure you want to know? Like, the same thing with L. Like, motherfucker, deny it. He doesn't deny it to Mia. He doesn't deny it to L. He doesn't deny it to his dad. It's like, motherfucker, you can just lie.
Yeah. So, you want to know, oh my gosh, talk about overthinking things. So, I guess this is what happened. So when Light was writing something in the Death Note before the chase scene with L, I guess, somehow he had enough time to write this, by the way, too. I don't know how. He must be really fast at writing or something.
Yeah. He literally wrote out the next, like, 20 minutes of the movie.
He went on to the school website with cameras around and all that type of stuff at a school dance. By the way, the classroom wasn't locked or anything like that.
I know, right in the middle, it was like nighttime. But okay.
Yeah. Sure. He went on the website and we found out he wrote a doctor's name.
While The Power of Love is playing during the scene, again, another unfitting song.
Yeah.
This whole last half hour of the movie is just like really weird choices for songs. Like, it's funny how that much it doesn't fit.
Yeah. So Light writes in the movie, in the book, he finds a doctor who was like I think the guy that we see come in and put the death note on him was like a pedophile towards kindergartners. I remember they said the doctor had some type of criminal past. I don't remember what it was.
He would like assault women or something.
Yeah, who cares? This movie sucks.
Well, I like how Light earlier in the movie is like, we shouldn't use this website because, it might have innocent people on it.
And yeah, he did.
Fuck that, I guess.
Yeah. So he wrote that this doctor would be in the area when Light would fall on the Ferris wheel. I don't know how that could be possible because Light doesn't know this guy. This guy could have been like, I don't know, 2 hours away from the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, he could have just been like in a completely different state for some reason,
Yeah, but no, somehow he was there, and he ended up saving Light.
And then put him in medical coma for 2 days.
Yeah, and
I don't even get this because, okay, so like the cops don't suspect Light. Like Al's the only one who thinks Light is Kira.
Mm-hmm.
So Light absolutely could have just like not put himself in a coma and like no one would care.
The question I have,
fucking dumb.
The question I have, how the hell can you control, like I know that's the death note. How can you just decide you're gonna be in a coma after falling off a Ferris wheel? You can't just like you're falling off a Ferris wheel. Like it's not like the Ferris. Like what if like a bit of the Ferris wheel
we joked about this and L changed the world. Like it's like L already wrote his name in the death note. So if he got shot in the face, would he like survive?
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes. If it happened in this movie.
Yeah. Because
like if you already wrote your name in the death note, you're fucking invincible.
It seems like it because like let's just say like Light fell off the Ferris. What if like the Ferris was like broke in half and like fell like this
into the water, like it just crushed him, and like a million things could happen.
Yeah, but that's not what else happens. The guy we saw earlier, the that does all that stuff with the kindergartners and stuff. The bad stuff, not good stuff. He's not like a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah.
I guess
he brought children in the wrong way.
Yeah. He went notebook, and like, I don't think you honestly. I do call kind of bullshit a little bit. I don't think you would be able to find this note. One, how would he even know? He doesn't even know about the Death Note, so he should have died
of
of.
Fishing around in this pond in the middle of the night, like we said, it has to be like plausible. They can't just, I don't know.
Yeah, and
Also,
was it
the doctor he has like save him. He has him like jump off the roof of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
That's so dumb. Why would you? Because like that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the hospital you're staying at to like prevent yourself from being a Kira suspect, and then you have this guy kill himself in like a Kira way.
And then they have this guy, and then
And I mean, the pedophile guy, it's like whatever, he just kills himself.
yeah, but it's like, yeah. So he killed himself, and yeah. So then the movie ends with like Light saying like, you asked what side I wanted to be, good or evil in the middle. And then the movie ends with Ryuk saying humans are interesting creatures. So
Yeah, that's his catchphrase in the show. Like humans are so interesting. I like Willem Dafoe's evil laugh. I think he does a good job with that.
yeah, it does it.
By the way, before the last scene we see with L, he like grabs a pen and he's like about to write Light's name. We don't know if he does it or not.
I say not.
School is announced, but like we haven't heard anything about it in like years. So if there's never another movie, I'd just like to think that Al wrote his Light's name and he fucking dies.
Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick. So there was supposed.
Sorry, the last scene of this movie, like Ryuk says, humans are so interesting, and then Light's face, he's like, "Fuck," and then it just ends.
Yeah.
Like I love the face Light makes. It's just like a what the fuck face, and then it ends.
Yeah, it's just. But, yeah. So there is going to be a sequel. We haven't. Let me just read the Wikipedia thing. They said, in an interview with Heat Vision, Wingard stated that Netflix had wanted to make at least two films, not just. Oh wait, I guess this would have been the first one. And what if the success of the first film married it, saying there are definitely lots of places to go, and we know generally where we would take it. Hopefully, people will watch it, and Netflix will order a sequel. As of right now, they haven't ordered a sequel because why would you? Yeah. They are definitely ready to. They just need people to watch it. And then on August 22nd, 2018, the Hollywood Reporter reported that a sequel was in development with Greg Russo writing the script. In April 20th, 2021, Russo revealed that the sequel would be more faithful to the manga than the first film. Kind of too late for that. But
yeah, because you already fucked things up so badly.
Yeah. On September 21st, 2021, Oka stated that the sequel promises fans criticism of the first film will be taken into account. Let's just talk about it. I really don't think you could make a sequel without and still not fuck it up, because you have to follow up everything you just did in this movie. And
you already fucked up at Light, Al, Chief Yagami, Misa. Ryuk's fine, I guess. And you already went through some of the best parts. Lindell Taylor, wasted. Ray Pember, wasted. Naomi Misumi, wasted. Okay, I guess he's talking to his imaginary friend. Talking to your imaginary friend?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can't really make a sequel here because they screwed everything up in this movie. I think the best suggestion is just to make a whole new thing. Do something obviously not completely different, but obviously.
I think just burn this movie with fire and then never touch it again.
Yeah,
just don't. It doesn't need a sequel. We don't need a Last Airbender 2. We don't need a Dragon Ball Evolution 2. We don't need a Netflix Death Note 2.
Yeah, there's really no reason. There's no way you can save it. This movie failed so bad. Before we grade, so that's the movie. That's the video. We did a 3-hour review, but I think it was worth it because we had to rant about a lot of stuff.
This is easily the angriest I've been in any of our.
And we haven't even done any other thing. I don't really know how successful this movie was. I think a lot of people did watch it mainly because
A lot of people watched it, but a lot of people didn't like it. It's a thing.
yeah, it got very bad reviews for the reasons I think pretty much we said. And again, there's just no reason for a sequel. So, yeah. So now we have to do our letter grades.
I think it is like it's not as bad as The Last Airbender, but like it's like on the same level as Dragon Ball Evolution, which again, not a good thing.
Okay. So if you were doing a letter grade from F to A, where would it go?
Fucking F minus.
And
It is so fucking bad. A bad movie and a worse adaptation, man. Fuck this. And everyone who worked on it.
It's honestly, this movie is like a F. Like,
this movie is the real Death Note. It gives anyone who watches it a heart attack.
Yeah, this movie is terrible. The terrible characters, terrible writing. And you know what the funny thing is, we talked. I don't even think this is a joke. We joked around like in certain moments where like the cast and stuff were like high fiving each other and like writing. I honestly think after this movie was ended, they were like so proud of their work. They were like high five, like yeah, we did something good.
Absolutely, they're absolutely. When you said they'll address fan criticism, I'm like bullshit. They're gonna double down if anything.
Like they're just like they were probably like
Adam Wingard fucking made fan 4-stick. All right, shut the fuck up, dude.
This is terrible.
He made another one that was like really bad too. Actually, I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up real quick.
Determined to just god.
But anyhow, that's pretty much it. We made it to 400 videos, man. How do you feel?
Oof, it feels good. I mean, listen, this was like 2 years in the making. This one.
Yeah, this was 2 years in the making. Funny thing is, this was really like 8 years in the making since we started reviewing Death Note. Like, I really feel bad for you because, like, I understand why you like that one last chapter thing because we haven't. That was like the last good thing of Death Note we got for like a while.
Well, I mean, I gave it like a C-. I don't know if that's really liking it.
But like, still, like, it's like.
Yeah, comparatively, like I think I think that this elevates that.
Yeah, like. Honestly, this could have, like, honestly, like, this is just terrible. But anyhow, that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to know what's going to be next for us on YouTube, we're going to make a channel update video. We're going to post one here and one on the Only Talkinator channel like we always do. And you're going to be into some surprises. So,
yeah.
That's pretty much it, guys. Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Fuckthismovie.com. Peace.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to you guys later. Let's hope the recording will actually stop this time.